And we're live. Howdy. Hey, folks, what's up with you? Don, Curious Cat, Sue, Big Cole. Let's see, who else is in this here house? Lakea, how to do? How to do? And Marquita Jones, Red. Hope a little bit's doing all right, you and her. Lisa Ray, good to see you, hun. Hope that your job is doing well and everything's going great. Tonight we're doing open lines. If you can hear me, how's the audio? Are we doing all right with the audio? Miss JJ, what's up? Doing open lines. Thought I'd get on here just a little early, just because I could. So, oh, medium dark roast. No, actually, that's not medium dark roast. That's dark roast coffee. 1865, I think, is Folgers or whatever. But yeah, how's the audio? Can you hear me? Is the audio all right, or am I talking to myself here? Let's see. It looks like I should be going out and about. So, hey, 5x5. Thanks, Don. Appreciate it. Looks like it's about a 15, 20-second delay in the thing. Yeah, well, sweetie, I appreciate you sending me that message. You are fantastic. So, all right. Let's see. Let me get back in here. All right. So, what's going on? Edward Kung Fu, buddy. God bless you too. I said a prayer right before I went on, but let's say another prayer. I feel like saying a prayer. Lord Jesus Christ, I ask thee from now and until I fall asleep, while I sleep and during my dreams, that if any evil tries to affect me, that thou wouldst punish him and make him focus on the one thing that causes the most pain during the entire time he tries to affect me. And for 10 minutes more, ask this in your holy name, and ask that it's not they cannot retaliate toward me or anybody that listens to my show or my friends or my family. Please protect them, keep them safe from every harm, every ailment. Send your angels of healing to each and every one of them. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. So there you go, folks. Appreciate it. And then we'll end up with a prayer at the end of this thing. We're going to do open lines like I usually do. Let me get the banners straightened up here. 931-994-6917. Or if you want to jump in, I'll start doing the drop the link in the chat. Let's see. Yes, indeed. Blessed be there. James, what's up? Dark Woods, hey, brother. And then let's go ahead and invite. We'll go ahead and drop a little copied thing in here. Please hit those thumbs up. I just dropped a link, the SteamYard link in the chat there. So if you want to be a part of the show, just follow the instructions. Just make sure if you're on YouTube, turn YouTube off in the background so you don't have a lot of echo. But yeah, baby, I have completed. Well, not completed. I'm still on my 6th day of writing my near-death experience, and all I can say is I have absolutely remembered stuff I've never remembered before. It was like, how the hell did I forget that? But I'm averaging about, well, today I think I've done about 7 pages so far. I'm averaging about 5-ish pages, give or take. But thanks to Mark over in Kentucky for giving me some pointers on, he had heard me talk about the near-death experience and said, I saw how your flow of mind as you talk about it. When your flow changes, change the document, rename it, and move on to the next one. All that stuff can be handled in editing at the end of the writing. So, Wolf King, what's going on? Scott, yo. Fantastic. But I actually got off the phone with Vaughn earlier today, and we were talking Bigfoot and all the research and stuff and DNA, and I was like, well, isn't the DNA research, isn't that kind of squashed? Don't they kind of, if they do have anything, come through their lab? You're out $4,000 at the least. Yes, Wolf King. Nice to see you too, brother. So if you got $4,000 that you spent for a DNA swab and it comes back, whatever, they're going to come back and say, well, it's inconclusive. We don't have anything to compare it to. It's an anomaly, or if it actually, I don't know. So you got $4,000. How do you do that and do it? Any kind of research? Melba Ketchum drove herself nuts over that stuff, and she got ruined. I don't even think she can teach, can she? But anyway, X Beast, yeah. Last night over on Vault's All Nightmares, X Beast, yes indeed. He was wanting to come up with a new name for Dogman. So I just sat there and pondered and said, well, why not X Beast? Why not? If it doesn't really fit a Dogman, who's that? It doesn't really fit a Dogman, werewolf, whatever, from Vault's description. Shell F, what's going on? Oh, crap, man. That obviously probably didn't sound right. But yeah, X Beast is Vault's new name for Dogman. He just wanted to piss off a few folks trying to get the name changed, which I kind of like I came up with it, but I kind of like the name X Beast. Why not? Kind of roundhouse fits everything. So, hold on just a second. Anyway, got any good stories? You got any kind of since Vault of Nightmares has installed new cameras, let's see what they got over back in the camera thing. I probably looks like there's some more spider webs, but hold on just a second. Let me see if I can get this audio in here, kind of fitting. Well, where the hell did I put the audio for that? There, nope, that's not it. X. I want the QuickTime player, so let's go running apps. Rio Link. There you go. Rio Link is in there. And then we'll turn this sucker on here. And then we'll go and look-see at the Vault of Nightmares backyard off of Dogman Cams. Try to get this show off and running in some sort of craziness. Hold on just a second. And I've got a few things that Bonita sent me an email with a bunch of links of some stuff. I've seen 2 out of the 3 at least. But there's an old direwolf one that's definitely been seen. But as you can see, there is the Vault Nightmares backyard off Dogman Cams. Got a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cams in the backyard. So, well, hell, why did it go off? All right, well, let's do this. Let me get this up here and running. All right, give me just a second. Get my screen off and get this in total 100% whatever. We'll take you a look-see. There's a new one, a new camera angle. This is point out back where we had seen back, I think it's back at the pillars. This camera angle right here. Let me get this up and running. Which one is this? This is In the Woods. His camera marked In the Woods, and Admin Authority over my Discord channel said that there's a lot of stuff going on with the spider webs down there. And I kind of remarked about that last night. Didn't talk to him about it, but there you go. Obviously, this one doesn't have any audio with it, but this is pointed out from the woods back toward Vault's place. So whatever is coming out, I think, was pointed into. I think it's pointed into the woods. Excuse me if I got that wrong, but there you go. All right, we'll turn this up right here. Get all 4 of these cameras back and running. And looks like dog pins up. There's a big old 2-path that's got spider web on it. Center, it looks pretty cool. And then the good old Vault 1. This free preview is brought to you by dogmancams.com. We'll visit this every once in a while. Hey, Wendy, what's up? What's up? Let's see. Who else? Sue. Down there on the other side of the world. Hey, the truth, it's just amazing. So it's if you want to pop in, call me, say how do or whatever, 931-994-6917. We'll get this show running, or I can sit here and talk about whatever shock and what's going on. This is day 6 of me writing my near-death experience. I've had a lot of people say, why don't you just write the fucker down? Which, all right. And then just 6 days ago, I woke up after saying a bunch of prayers, and things changed in my life you would not believe. Honestly, it was like amazing is all I can tell you. And I had to actually sit there and quit and said, I better pay attention. I've rode all morning long into the afternoon, and I was like, I ain't even eating. So I jumped off and got me a couple bites to eat, and started. I need to take a shower before I get on here, so you didn't see me all haggled out or anything like that. So anyway, has anybody seen any ghosts or UFOs? You name it. We're seeing some stuff on the cameras over here. But Sharon, what's up? Yeah, I just said a prayer earlier, just right about 2 or 3 minutes ago. Myrtle's Plantation. That's interesting. Where is Myrtle's Plantation? There, Wolf King. What you guys drinking tonight? Any adult beverages out there? Or are we drinking water, tea, pina coladas, frou-frou drinks, or what? Now, Bass Mayhem 0615, I did that freaking ribeye last night. Ribeye sandwiches. The wigwam is in the house. Andy Warhol's wig is in the house. What is going on with you, brother? If you want to be a part of the chat, I'm going to drop a link in the chat here in just a second. Give me just a second. All you have to do is just follow the instructions, give access to you if you want the camera on, or just got to definitely have access to your microphone. But turn off your YouTube in the background so you don't have a bunch of crazy stuff. Jay Jones saw a car. What does that say? I guess I just saw cars drive by, but it tripped me smooth out the first time. So okay. Let's see what we're referring to there. I don't see it up here in the chat there, but there you go. All right, Keith King, what's up, brother? How's Jimmy doing over there in Ireland? Jimmy doing all right tonight? And when is the Supernatural Dracula interview going to be? Y'all don't want to miss that. That is this Friday. Repeat, this Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. My co-host, Tina Bison, and myself will be interviewing. Let's see. Oh, gee whiz. Oh, what is her name? Borzan. That's it. Borzan. I've had her on my show before. We hadn't talked about this DNA stuff, but she is a blood relative to a bunch of duchesses and princes and you name it. She's got some royal blood in her, according to the DNA profiles I've seen. And she'll come in and we'll be talking all kinds of stuff. She is a metaphysical healer. She's got her own little clinic. We'll go down through all that stuff. And I've seen her do some tarot readings and junk like that. So this particular Friday, is the 18th. So 8 p.m. Central. Not bad. Jimmy's asleep behind me on the couch. Well, there you go. I can't be right. Or I can't be bad. Not right. So 931-994-6917. If you want to, the link's in the chat there to join in on me. But we're sitting there looking at the free preview of Dogman Cams out of the backyard of Lakea and the Vault of Nightmares, which just decided it wanted to do some stuff. How you liking all this new price gouging we've got? I saw food's up like in the 10 to 15% range. Gas is up, 30, 40% across the board, just depending on where you're at in the country. Was it going to get worse? Probably. Can't flood the market with all that extra printed cash and not get crazy. Looking forward to the show. I am looking forward to the show. We have been hard at work in the background for my Southern Supernatural show. I think we're booked out till April right now. Got a bunch of people. I think we even got a Druid metaphysical person that does readings and stuff. A tree Druid, I believe, if I remember correctly. But there you go. I saw it on the bottom right cam. Lights traveling left and right. Bottom right cam. Okay. Let's see. I guess. Oh, okay. You're talking about that news through the woods or from the woods. Paid $6.50 for 2 chicken breasts. Man, I remember as a little boy they were practically giving away chicken wings when I was a kid. Now, honestly, that was in the early 70s. But yeah, it's just getting ridiculous. Sent you a pic of a whole ham at $85, not here in Louisiana, but north. 80 shit. Yeah, I heard about the prices, especially up in Ohio. But yeah, that's just not right. Meat prices and stuff is just getting outrageous. And if you go to Walmart, you can practically go to these specialty butcher shops and buy half a beef and get away with practically murder and get better pieces of beef instead of going to Walmart or someplace like that and get these saline injected whatever to raise the price, raise the weight. But Jesus Christ, I don't know. Let's see. What is Curious Cat says, Sean, I saw my brother as see-through spirit at 8 years old in my room. He died when I was 24. Is there a supernatural link? 8 years old. There could be. I actually did write about something like that in my near-death experience and some other stuff. I know a lot of people have trouble with kids popping up, and I honestly, from a perspective of having a kid show up as a ghost in front of you or whatever, I have a little bit of trouble with that, just because the innocence factor. But from the perspective of God allowing something like that, if that's God's will and He wants to, put that out there for you, Curious Cat, and give you some sort of solace with sharing that with. I would just look at it from a perspective of: did you gain something from it? Was there anything? Was it all positive, or was there some negative to it? That would be what I would look at. Now, for the last 2 days, as I've been writing, which actually I kind of mentioned the last two community posts over there, writing about my near-death experience. Well, let's go ahead and get this. Hold on just a second. Sorry, I had a cough there. But let's get this thing off here. Stop sharing. There we go. Let's see. My near-death experience. It was just like somebody's watching me. I don't know what it is watching me. I would write about a particular subject. Then I would get a call about that particular subject, somebody talking about that particular subject, or get a text message about that particular subject. But all it did was say, yeah, something is watching you and putting it out there. Or maybe I'm just putting it out there. But whatever I'm doing is, gets noticed, is all I can tell you. From my close friends and on. And it was just, I had a couple of close friends that said, yeah. I wrote about, I wrote all kinds of stuff. Anything and everything, and some stuff that I hadn't even talked about live on air. I haven't told a frickin' soul yet. But I think this is going to be interesting, to say the least. If I keep this route up, I'll probably, about 2 months, I'll probably be about a 200 to 300 pages worth of text. In about 2, maybe 3 months, I'll have 200 or 300 pages of text that I don't know when I'll be wanting to say, okay, somebody help me with the editing and stuff. But the way I've got it formatted and stuff should be fairly easy. But it's just so random how it comes out of me. But there you go. All right, folks. Now that I've sat there and rambled on for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 34 seconds, give me a call, 931-994-6917. And if you're a Skype type of person, you can call me on Skype. Let me see if I got let me look, Skype. Aha, here's a Skype number. If you're around the world, you can use that. Especially, if you're in Russia or some sort of communist, whatever country, you probably can't Skype. Hey, Lakea, how's things going on with you? I hope everything's calming down for you and stuff. Where's OZ Wiki tonight? Have you heard from her? Hey, Roth, what's going on? Dogman Watcher, what is going on with you? If you want to help out the show, like the show or, thumbs down. YouTube's algorithmic bots see that as an interaction. It doesn't matter. If you don't like the show, just leave the hell alone. Don't touch it. But the other thing is, if you want to, share this out to your friends, your family, the people on your socials, all that kind of stuff, share that out. But yeah. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. How else do we got? I got the StreamYard key. If you want to come pop in, nobody. Is everybody shy tonight, or is it just me, or you just want to hear me ramble on about stuff? All right, since nobody's wanting to call in, I'll tell a story. What is your dealer's choice, folks? Give me something. Okay, Sean, my brother and I never got along. I guess it was weird. Curious Cat says. Mm-hmm. Again, you just have to, pray about it. Maybe if you're that ilk, pray about it and see what you get from God or however you want to put it out there, or just say, hey, bro, why did I see you at age 8, kind of thing, and see what you get back. You never know. Kind of an odd night. It's supposed to be really super windy here tomorrow in the mountains of Southwest Virginia. Bonita. Hey, I got those videos that you sent me, Bonita. I'll share those out here in a little bit, but I didn't want to divulge every little thing right at the first of the show. Didn't have anything to fill anything with, but I like to ramble anyway. Appreciate you popping in. 39 people. Wow, look at that. So let's see what else is going on here. I've had a few people ask me how this old house is doing, paranormal wise, and I can actually tell you. Since Admi Authority gave me all those exorcist prayers, and I started saying those. Didn't I say? Yeah, I say them at least once a day. Art Bell hated red eyes. Red eyes. That's interesting. I remember that actually. I was listening to old Art Bell show with what's his name, Man Markham. One of the first shows that he brought him on and was talking to him about what the hell he was going to do with all that equipment he stole from Transformers and stuff, and actually got the arresting cop on the phone and talked to him on there. That's oldie but goodie. I love that kind of shit. But yeah. Hopefully I won't go. Well, I'm used to caffeine. Ain't gonna be no big deal. So yeah, Art Bell did not like red eyes. Things I know, he probably wouldn't like some red eyes around me, but it is what it is. No big deal. Let's see, Rotharian Fairmoon. Want to hear more about any reports you've heard of shadow figures with red eyes and comically sharp teeth appearing to kids. Honestly, the kids reporting anything paranormal wise other than the last thing I ever heard recently in my memory was something that was bugging the living shit out of my grandnephew. And apparently it's gone now. But he would, it was associated with my sister, his grandmother, his mama, or not his mama. My sister would probably kill me if she heard me say that. She likes to be called Gammy. I don't know why she likes that, but she likes her grandkids to call her Gammy. I don't know why Mama's not appropriate, or great grandmother, or grandmother, or whatever the hell. Gammy is Gammy. So anyway, this little old kid would start fussing and cussing about neighbors here. Neighbor would be under the bed. Neighbor would be in the bedroom or under the couch or wherever. But it was always associated with my sister coming over and visiting her grandkids. Anyway, how can I tell this without? Well, anyway, I'll omit the stuff I do not want to share. I can't say exactly what I can not reveal, but if you want to hear that story, you can probably find it on older podcasts or radio shows that I've told this particular story. But just to cover Ross thing, shadow people, I would think that this thing was a shadow person to a certain extent from what I can feel from my nephew. I caught the little fellow just wringing his little old hands walking down the hallway one evening. I was over here with a few friends and family, and he would start saying, "Neighbors here, neighbors here." Well, things got taken care of, and now he has not seen that thing since, and that's been a couple years ago. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Now, whatever the hell that thing was, I think it was demonic in some sort of thing. I don't know what the hell things like attached to kids for, but there you go. And that's the same. That's the same dude that he got ticked off at his preschool teacher, kindergarten. Kindergarten. He's in kindergarten. Got ticked off at his kindergarten teacher, and the kindergarten teacher walked into the car as my sister and my niece were picking him up, and more or less had a little confab with the teacher. Well, yes, Bonita, the writing is going superbly well. If what I have been told by other people, uh, they have writing blocks and stuff, which God willing, I'm not going to have any more writing blocks because I can't stop it from coming out of me. I just have to sit there, and the only thing I've got to do with writing is focus instead of letting my pick of your background. Well, all right. There you go. So, yeah. Sorry about that if you're listening to me. I don't know what that would trigger that text message, but all right. You'll have to tell me later. Anyway, with the writing, the thing I have trouble with is how I viewed everything at once. Things run together in my viewing of the near death experience. So I have to sit there and think and pray for a little bit and get the try to keep on task. And if I go down, I've got like a dozen documents open that are living documents, and when I come across something, I just say, well, I can put it in this document and just add to that document. Or if it's something brand new, which I've only done it twice, but there you go. Chasing Truth with Sean G. We haven't talked about aliens lately. Aliens. Well, we can go down that route. But yeah, the Ghost and Children shit. I don't see why in the hell Ghost or whatever likes to attach to kids. Maybe it's just the innocence factor. They want to corrupt them or something like that. But there you go. All right, aliens. Near death experience. I will be talking about aliens in my near death experience. Actually, if you want to call that reptilian thing that you saw a rendition of on my uh, last Wednesday show, I think. Yeah, last Wednesday show. That sort of kind of looks like the reptilian I saw in my near-death experience, and that kind of was the platform I jumped off of and started talking about in the book. I don't know how or how that's going to wind up in the final release of it, but we'll see. But aliens, I believe in without a doubt. Let's see, Area 51. I wish we had Vault on here. Vault would. I don't know. He's got so many NDAs that he signed that he can't really talk about a whole bunch of shit. So, aliens, aliens, aliens. What do you want to talk about? Aliens. Let's see. I actually have. Let me see if I got to. I could probably share some UFO shit from over where is it now? Instagram. Oh yeah, this fella. X Files Crypto Zoology. Let's see if I can find something. Oh, here we go. We'll do some X Files stuff here in just a second. Let me share this out. This is kind of cool. Don't know if this is anything of let's see, share screen. And go over here. We'll do some alien stuff. Sounds pretty good. Hadn't thought about it, but I've got enough resources to share this out with. I don't think it's got audio. I don't know if that is any particular thing there, but what do you think that is? Is that maybe CGI? There's a plane in the air there. I don't know if it's got audio or whatever, but my favorite food is birthday cake. Scott says. Shit. We're talking about aliens. You're bringing food up, buddy. What's up with that? Mm-mm-mm. There you go. But what do you think that is? What do you think that is? Wrong with the pick. They didn't. I don't know what if they didn't like it or they like it or whatever. But there you go. Stop sharing. I don't know what that is. That could be anything from a reflection in a windscreen to CGI or to actually something real out there. And the UFO's UFO. You tell me what you think that is. So let me get rid of this. Go down here. That's not at all. Okay. Cool beans. Let's see. What else we got? I'm trying to find a good, quick. Oh no! I don't want that. That's too freaking stuff. Anyway, there we go. Very intriguing video to say the least. Yeah, that's interesting. Hey, Roth, what do you think aliens are? Bigfoot and on. What's up there, Connor? Haven't seen you in a hot minute. Okay, I got you. I got you. Connor, call in 931-994-6917. Tell us what's going on with you, brother, if you like. It's been a hot minute since you and I have spoke together on air. But let's go see what Bonita has sent us. I think I've seen most of these. Well, yeah, I've seen all three of these. But we'll check this out. This is from Bonita in the chat here. Sent me a few emails concerning. Laura, what's going on? What's going on? Is our conversation that we had a few weeks ago coming out this week, the podcast, or when is that going to happen there? So there you go. Let's get this particular. Overall shape outside of the light shaft, almost mushroom cap shaped. I personally haven't heard anything about ships like that, but that is new to me. Yeah. The one I saw was typical TR3B, and I saw that floating over my damn house. Probably 2009, November 2009. Reported to Newfork.org. So let me get to this one. Where is it? Where is it? Aha, here we go. Done, share. And I think this is actually the that Montauk thing. That thing's loud. Turn that down. Yeah, let's turn that down. That's nice too. So, is this actually a stage thing, or is this one of those DNA projects that kind of escaped from uh, a lab? I think it's a Montauk monster, maybe, if I remember correctly. So, there you go. What do you think that is? Yeah, that's a skinned ape of some kind, Ross says. Yeah, I guess it could. Yeah, skinned ape, hairless ape, manged ape. I think we kind of shed our outer layers of skin, obviously. It depends on what this is. It sort of looks like it's boiled a little bit, but I don't know. So, let's see what else we got here. That's from hot off the press from Bonita, the stuff that she had sent me an email. Not sure when it's going to get out. Okay, Laura, that's fine. Anytime. If you need my help in anything, excuse me, need my help in anything else, you just let me know. Just sent me a video from Brazil. Okay, brother. Thank you, Bass. Let me see. Let me get this over here. I'll hop over here and see what's going on. Let's see. What the hell is that? We got us a good sized UFO going on here. Just to let you know. No, I don't want to add a reaction. I want to copy the link, bad boy. And then we'll go over here. And I don't want to open that either. Shit on the shingle. Now, I do this professionally in another life, so don't write me any hate comments. So, all right. Well, I'm not exactly sure what the hell to say that is, but we'll get her going here. And then, of course, with Bass Mayhem in there. Thank you for sharing that with me. Super of you, brother. God bless you. So here we go. And this is from, what does it say here? LuxRoxa. Well, I'm going to butcher that language because I have no clue what it is. So I'm not going to sit there and say, what the hell is that? Obviously, that's outside the pane of glass that this person is sitting there doing. Let's see. Does it have any audio with it? And do I have the audio streamed in with this thing? Nope, it does not have audio, but it is streaming in. If it did have audio, you'd hear it. So what is this? I don't know. 4 lights in the sky. The one I saw had 3 lights on a triangle shaped thing, but not during the daylight. It was actually dark, black as night. So yeah, there you go. Let's go here. Oh shit, Sean. What did it do? Aha, there we are. Okay. I believe you probably. Yeah. Okay. I have a separate conversation I can't include you guys in on, but there you go. So, let's see. Who else is in here? Brazil. Got a few more soon stuff. Got caught down in Brazil. I tell you, Brazil, I've got a friend that Is he still in Brazil? I think he's outside the country of Brazil now. He's trying to get his way back to Florida. And he loved it down there, but they have some incredible UFO stuff down there. So, let's see. Sometimes I think reflection, especially if they are recording through a window or glass. So, anyhow, there you go. I could probably see that red. Is that a reflection in glass? Probably. I don't know. Definitely something to look at. So, and reflection, especially if they got that. All right, let's see what else we got in here. I'm gonna peruse what you had. Well, let me go back here. Let me see. I've got a few other little tidbits. What is this one? Here, let's see what this one is. Monster cryptid demon creature. Okay, let's see what this is. Ah, shit! I ain't showing that. That ain't even worth it. That's so fucking fake. I wouldn't show that. Well, that'd be something like on a B movie, like you'd see on a freaking probably the Toxic Avenger movie kind of stuff. So, and what's this one? Wall chime. Why not? Here's some UFO hot off the press there. And Bonita, I'll bring up those other two, which are classics in my my book that you sent. We'll get her here in just a minute. All right, here is off of Instagram. Something off the wall of China. Looks like a cigar. Yeah, it looks exactly what it is. It's a cigar-shaped UFO. Whatever the hell that is. Is that showing up? Yep, showing up. But what do you think that is? If you want to call in, 931-994-6917, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Well, it would tell me I didn't pay my bill, so it's still paid. So if you want to call in, 931-994-6917. If you're over on Facebook or over on Twitter and you're watching me, give me a ring-a-ding. Just say, hey, I see you over there. But I'm trying to get my TikTok up. I'm maybe about 50 shy of being able to go live on TikTok. So when I do these live shows, I'll try to figure out how to rigmarole a way to do a live feed over there. Probably get some crazy hot pockets calling in, but you never know. We'll see. Have you ever called in, James? I think James has called in. Pretty sure James has called in. So there's that. All right. And let's see what else. Aha, you unidentified flying objects. Well, you got boy howdy, you asked for it, and bass just goes crazy. Here's another Brazil one that we're about ready to take off here and see from Instagram. Let me get this over here to where I can share it. Instagram, paste, and then we'll get her going here. Another one from Bass Mayhem 0615. Go over and follow him over on his YouTube right there. Oh, I'm not exactly sure what that is. That's definitely could be. One second, let me show this first before I start commenting on it. Share, and like. All right, there we go. Where is it? Oh, there it is, right there. Two lights in the sky, and they blink out. And this is from Brazil, if I remember correctly. If I remember what Bass sent. Yeah, that's from Brazil. So Brazil's got some freaky ass stuff, just like in the back of All the Nightmares in Lakea's backyard there. Is this got audio? Oh yeah, it does have audio. There you go. So how would that How could you talk about that shit? Oh, thanks, Sue. That was off of Pixabay. Found that. That's the way I did the poster. You know how I like to do my posters, kind of put up a new one every week or every show I do. I do 3 now. How the hell did I start doing that? I'll call and tell it again in a little bit. Sean wants me. Go right ahead, buddy. You call and tell it. I'm good. Should probably sure a bunch of people. Let's see. Where's Lakea? Is Lakea in here? Can't do pets passing right now. Later. Ah, sorry. Sorry to hear that. Prayers for Lakea's home. One of her babies is passing. So hate to hear that. There is some pics put together. I sent you. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what we can do here. We'll get this one stopped, and then we'll go over here. Well, no, that's not it. I hit the wrong thing. I got too many of these freaking things here. All right. Oh, yep. Is that the one with the unidentified flying objects have been witnessed? Yeah, I believe that's it. From Instagram. Oh, yeah. Not bad. I can do those. Let's put this up here and then throw up there from Bass Mayhem. Some identified flying objects here. I love UFOs. I don't know why the fascination behind it is so. Now, this one right here sort of looks like the thing I saw, but it's not exactly. Pretty damn close. If you would take these 3 end things on the triangle and turn those white and just be like a baseball size white thing instead of the red. And that red in the middle was deeper red, and it kind of phased in and phased out as it was, doing the siren thing. That would be it. So, yeah, crazy. And I believe this one right here, is actually the one that they had a picture. I think that's the one with the aliens in that little notch there, the bottom right hand corner one. And of course, that is the one from LA where they did all the live fire and couldn't hit this thing with those tracer rounds. Top right hand corner. So, and I'm not familiar with that. That is that Billy Meyer stuff? I think no, I don't think Billy Meyer did. Did Billy Meyer do black and white? It kind of looks like one of Billy Meyer's jobbers right there. That one in the bottom middle. Is it okay now? Oh yeah, it's okay. I don't know what it is, but these are UFOs, and I'm sorry that what if I put up something that bugged you there, okay? So. Bottom right from Brazil, video shows creature walking around. Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find that, buddy. Let's go down here. Well, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, Danielle Diva is going to be on this Friday, the Dracula episode on Southern Supernatural. Just to let you guys know that. And yeah, I'll have to. Let's see. Let me go over here. I did not plan to do one of those red feather reviews, but why not? Hell, I can do it. No big deal. Dustin Shanks on TikTok. Well, okay. Let's see if we can find TikTok. Go over here and do Dustin Shanks. I don't think I'm signed on TikTok on this particular browser, but well, why not? No big deal. Hopefully it doesn't have anything. No, I'm not logged in. Cool.
It worked.
All right, give me just a second. Oh, yeah, there you go.
The Sasquatch you see was in the shadow of this tree root and barely visible to the naked eye.
Hey, look at that.
Thanks to the high sensitivity sensor on this camera, the images I was able to record were very impressive. This
I apologize, okay? I did not mean to show anything that offended you.
Odd behavior I'm exhibiting.
Please forgive me. What is that?
Once this last battery was spent, there was nothing else I could use to record with. It worked.
Okay, so
the Sasquatch you see was in the shadow of this tree root. And
okay, here's the thing. He says at the end of it that his battery was spent.
The images I was able to record were
very you got such high quality stuff, and what happened? You know, I'm just enjoying it from a skeptic kind of point of view.
Likely shocked by this odd behavior I'm exhibiting. Once this last battery was spent, there was nothing else I could.
I was like good skin tone, but I don't know. Last battery was spent, so
it worked.
I honestly, it's one of those looks too good to be true kind of deals to me, but that's just me. All right, let's go over here to. Oh, I've seen this one before. This is from Bonita. She emailed me this probably about 4 days ago. Let's go here. I've seen this video before. Something's walking down. I think this is, where the hell is this? Humanoid creature caught on camera. I don't think this is in the United States. Maybe this is CGI. What you guys think? Let me put this on the loop here. There you go. And put this up here. The tree root. Okay, well, possibly. So, what have you seen this particular video of this alien kind of lanky looking? Looks like it's probably, I would say, about 3.5, 4 feet tall, maybe, just based off of the guys on the bikes and what passed it. Fixes some dinner. Okay, buddy. That's fine. Whenever you want to call in, that's all right. But yeah, let's see what else we got going on here. Anything in the chat that's worth it? Worth saying? Which everything in here is worth saying. So honestly, I don't know if that's fake or what. I'm kind of leaning toward it's fake. It's pretty good damn CGI from my perspective, but that's my personal opinion. Or is that? I think that's taken down in South America, maybe Brazil or Asian country of some sort. Let's see if it's got any audio. Let's listen in the audio. Yeah, hell, very. See if they say.
Creepy humanoid creature.
Sort of sounds like an Indian dialect, maybe. My perspective, sort of is like an Indian dialect. It's in India, Keith says. Yeah, so there you go.
Creepy humanoid creature.
Thanks to Bonita for sending that over and making that part of the show. I know you said to use that over on Vault Nightmares, but I thought maybe, we might do that over Vault too. That's pretty cool stuff. Something evil in the woods, big wolf. Oh yes. So this one I've seen before. Well, right here. There we go. Oh shit! Come on, son.
You guys ever try?
I don't. I'm gonna have to do this. There you go. It won't let me go down there too far. But see if I can Let me refresh this. Maybe I can capture it again and see. It's not playing the video. Sorry about that. Ah, here we go. Oh shit. Come on. Maybe it's just where I...
And this right here is...
I think that's one of those dire wolves, maybe. There you go. Things like 3... Is that a husky, maybe? I've got a friend that's a zoologist, and she said anything that's an apex predator that gets out into the wild where they're not normally there, say a wolf or whatever predator it is, they can grow up to 30% larger than they normally would, just because they don't have competition in the wild. That's a dire wolf or a dogman. Okay, cool. What the hell is that? Oh, hold on a second. Let me post that in the chat. So if you want to look at this yourself, I'll go ahead and post that link in the chat. I don't have any problems with that. You know, I'm sharing the fucker out anyway. So let's go with here. That last one, that dire wolf one, has been put in the chat right now. If you want to look at that particular one, whoever may have that or not have that, have never seen that. See, Laura hasn't seen it. So Thaddeus Cray, West, buddy. I'm glad you had a pretty good day. Crazy stuff. Let's see how long. Well, we've already been on here for a whole hour. Look at that, bro. So Thaddeus Craig, go over and follow his channel, Wes Vic. Holy cow! Look at that. We've got one more. I think strange creature. No, I've already went through all of those that Benita sent. So apologize. I thought I already had one extra one, but I already ran through the thing. So let me stop sharing that. All right. Sean, can you email it to me? I can get it from chat on my phone. I can't get it from chat. Okay, sure. Hold on just a second. I will send that to you. Let me get that. Look here. Miss Tucker, you about ready to get it here in just a second there. And none. And then we'll video. Oh, shit. Should be coming to you in just a second. It's going through the stuff there. So you're welcome. It's coming. It's should be there in your phone right now. I've seen that particular video before. It's been out for at least a couple years, if not more. I don't know. We'll have to. Has anybody seen that before? How long has that been out? About probably 3 years. At minimum 3, maybe. Anyway. Well, let's see. What are we talking about? Let's find some other stuff. I think Red was wanting to talk a little bit about. Let's see. What else have I? No, I've already seen that one. What the hell's that? Okay. I think I've seen it, but why not? This is real or fake. Okay, so if it's real or fake, more likely it might be fake, but we'll see. We'll see. Hold on just a second. Apparently, this is a. I don't know. I'll share it. I think it might be fake, but if it is, it is. If it ain't, it ain't. And I ain't trying to vet this thing out. This is just a Red Feather review that I'm borrowing from Bald Nightmares. KJ, what is going on, brother? That's been at least 3 years, Bass said. So what is that? That kind of looks like little Pekingese poodle, black Pekingese poodle I had, the face of it anyway. Older, grayish, whatever. Trick of the light, maybe? What do you think that is? Crazy stuff in the world for sure. Lord have mercy. Nobody wants to talk to me? Okay, all right, that's fine. We'll keep on going. Let's see, what else can I talk about? Do you want to see more alien stuff, or do you want to talk about more cryptid Dogman, whatever? Big Cole. Let's see. Red says, since last year, I've really been interested in the whole UFO alien thing. I've never believed till I started seeing stuff that there is absolutely no explanation for. Well, I think disclosure, which I think we went through a whole series of. Chris, what's going on? Appreciate you coming in. 2 minutes. All right, bro. 2 minutes. Take your time. Don't have to rush dinner for that. For calling me and saying, "Hey, we have been trying to get James to call Sean's show." Yeah, he's called in. It's been a hot minute since he's called in my show. But yeah. All right, so we'll stop sharing here. Yeah, I appreciate James even considering calling in and telling his story again on here, but it's been a hot minute. Anybody else in here that nobody's really. All right, so let's go back here and see if I can find another one. Oh, hell. Oh, that was just a still. I was like, it's got a play button on it, but all it was playing was the still picture. Let's see, did you know? No, that's definitely not what I want. What the hell is that? That's just another picture. Nope. Let's see. That is strange. See if there's a guy. Oh, can't play that. That's got some music. I don't want to get any crazy stuff. Ooh. Okay, I'll play this one. I don't know what the hell this is, but won't play the audio because it's got some music on there. Which, like, hell, I ain't got no freaking monetization on here. But there you go. So let's see what this thing is. It looks like this is outside a street in a bigger city, possibly. Anyone had any Southwest encounters? I don't know. Anybody had any Southwest encounters according to what Red is asking about? KJ, how you doing, brother? Been a hot minute since I've seen you in here. So what is that? It looks like that's down a little alleyway. Looks a little misshapen. I don't know. Do home humo. Okay. Chris, I have no clue what that is, buddy. Let me see if it's got a description. Oh, shit. It's over here. I'm sharing out my Instagram app on my Mac. Cryptid, alien, monster, entity, or watching across the street that disappears. Real or fake? What do you think? I don't know. Depends on when it is. You can definitely see it's got the video's got some compression on it, a digital compression, so you can definitely see that. So who knows what that is? All right, let's see what else is on this dude's page. This is from who is this? Actually, I think I got this either from Truth or Bass. X-Files Cryptozoology. But let's see if there's any kind of interesting stuff here. Let's go through here. What is that? All right, let's see what this is. Nah, that right there, that's fucking shit. I'm sorry. No, sorry about that. Interesting, but that's fake as shit. All right, we'll see what this little dude's doing. Right here. Oh, that's just street magician stuff. Okay. That's pretty cool, though. Let's see what else we got here. I think we actually watched this not too long ago over on the Vault channel. Oh, yeah. I remember this. This is where something reaches out and grabs this dude right here from the Wawa, the water, as my niece now is a mama of 2 boys and about ready to become a third mama. Mama is something else. Hard to say. What the hell is that grabbing that thing? Kind of looks like it's a Dero, but with clothes on, not a robe. Okay, I don't know. I think we showed this over on the Vault of Nightmares channel. We have no clue what this is, and don't come at me and saying, "Hey, I'm showing fake stuff or whatever." I don't know what this is, but that was Betty White. All right, brother, I got you. Looks like it's wearing shoes. Yeah, it could have been. Could have been. Like I said, that last video looked like it was digital compression, like off of maybe a videotape. When you do home video, they got that sucker, that format would digitally compress just about everything. So, Betty White there. So, there's that. That's interesting. I don't know what that is. Could it possibly be real? Yeah. Could it possibly be fake? Yep, just about. Just about anything that you see on the internet. Oh, here we go. This is old picture. Is it staged? Maybe. I don't know. Looks like it's a decapitated head of something that this looks a lot bigger than the heads of the other fellows that are holding rifles up. So could that be a stage prop? Maybe. Crystal, looks like I'm missing some cool stuff. I'm just going through a particular cryptozoology thing. I best not be doing that particular thing. Oh, wait a minute. I like little UFO stuff, so let's see what this is. Wow, what is that? I like that one. I don't know what the hell that is, but I like it. Looks like I'm missing some stuff. Hey, what is, let's see, Crystal, welcome aboard. Oh, wait a minute. That revealed something. What the hell is that? Oh, so that was blurry. Ah, okay. Gotcha. Lucas said, did you know that my name was the name of a main character in the movie Skulls from the year 2000? Oh, wait a minute. Well, you got a caller. Maybe this is James here. Let's get this going on here. All right. Unscreen caller, you're live on air. What's your name and where you from?
How's it going, Sean? This is James.
Oh, hold on just a second, James. Give me just a second, James. I got you. I got to change your audio preference here for whatever reason.
Yeah, you're kind of an echo.
Yeah, hold on just a second. I got to put you on a couple other things here built in. So now you should be just fine. All right, we got you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you are.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's going, brother. So what's going on good with you? Let me get out of this.
Not too much. Just hanging in there till winter's over.
All right. So remind me again, what kind of story was you going to share there, James?
The encounter I had with the owl that was over 6 feet big.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, please do.
Happened in Cedar Lake.
Please do share that.
But I guess I'll tell the backstory at first, what happened, because a guy seen it 3 years before me, which was 2003 or 2004. I can't really remember when he seen it. I know it was one of those 2 years. But he left a party one night when we were drinking, and he came back the next day after everybody kind of showed up to hang out at this house, and was like, "Hey, last night when I left, I think I seen a 4-foot owl." And we kind of just stopped for a second to hear him say it or whatever, and then he didn't really say anything after that. So I kind of started like laughing or chuckling at him, thinking maybe he was just telling us some kind of crazy story he made up or something. And he said, "No, I'm serious. Something was in the trail of this woods that where it happened. There's like 5 dead-end streets in a row, and this woods is only maybe like 100, maybe 100 yards plus wide, but lengthwise it's longer than that, like where it goes up and down the streets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's thick, but it ain't very big." But he continued to go on with the story, saying that when he walked up, he thought he seen a person hunched over in the trail because he left in the dark at night, passed by like 10, 11 o'clock. And like I said, he was drinking, we were all drinking, but he was on foot walking home, and thought he seen a person hunched over in a trail, and he wears kind of thick glasses. So he said that when he seen it, he said, who's there? Thinking it was a person, and it turned around, screeched at him, and flew up over his head past him. And he said he thought he seen something that it was holding, or maybe like eating on the trail. And I was still like, okay, are you joking? And he wasn't. So since we were right across the street where he said he'd seen it, I was like, well, take us to where you seen this happen at. And when we walked into this woods in the middle of it, he's like, it was right here. And I'm kind of looking around, and I don't see any blood. I don't see any feathers. I don't see any fur or scratch marks. So I was just like, okay, this guy's going to go this far with this lie and just tell us this story or what? So I kind of laughed at him some more, and he really didn't say anything after I would laugh at him and other people would laugh at him. He kind of gave me the FU a little bit, but he never brought it up after that. For those 3 years that went by, whenever he would leave and we'd see him, no matter where it was at, I'd be like, hey, don't let the 4-foot owl get you. And sometimes he'd say stuff back or whatever just to answer me, to basically say something bad to me. And I don't know if it was that reason and God was teaching me a lesson or what, but I happened to be cutting through the same woods on foot in 2007, and I had a buddy with me when we were going through there to the same house. And at first, 2 weeks before this happened, we got treed by a pit bull dog in the neighborhood that people would just let loose at nighttime, run around. This thing was pretty vicious, like attacking people on bikes, or it would even bite bumpers of cars if they slowed down by house. It was a pretty mean dog. And while we were cutting through, we could hear this thing running in the leaves, because this is like early March. And I'm pretty tall. I'm like 6'1", so I grabbed a branch, pulled myself up on the tree, and my buddy, he kind of got left on the ground till the very last second, and he decided to jump on the sapling that didn't have really any big branches on it. And he like climbed it like a rope. At like the last second, this dog went back and forth to my tree and his tree, and just kept kind of biting the bark and growling and snarling at us. And finally, the owners called it off after maybe like 5 minutes or so, and it kind of huffed at the air for a little bit and went towards the owner's house. We waited up in the tree for a little while, and we got down. We're just like, man, that's crazy. We should just go knock on their door and tell them you can't let your dog like run around. It's biting people and attacking people. But we don't. We end up going to my buddy's house that this kid left from when he seen this owl. And then, like I said, this was 2 weeks before me and my buddy seen it. And we happened to be cutting through there again 2 weeks later, and we heard the crunching on the leaves again. And we both kind of like looked at each other like, oh no, we got to run or jump up a tree or do something, climb up. Mm-hmm. And we both kind of realized that it was a big raccoon this time, and it was running away from us instead of towards us. So we kind of, I guess, both put our guard down, because it was just a big raccoon and it was leaving us, not even coming towards us. We kind of like both continued to walk a little bit, and then as we took a couple more steps, I heard what sounded like a wooden diving board, like an old one, when like a heavy person jumps off the diving board and you get the full wood sound out of it, like the spring noise. and which really confused me at the time because this is like halfway through March and there's no leaves on the trees yet. It's just the beginning of the year, and I'm kind of like scanning around in the dark, like thinking what could make a diving board noise in the woods. And I finally my eye catches this branch that's probably 20 feet plus, and it's just whipping up and down, still kind of making a little bit of the noise, but the branch is still whipping up and down. And I was just like, wow, like thinking what could weigh enough to make a branch move like that and sound like that and not make a noise when it hits the ground. So I'm first, my buddy's behind me, and he's probably maybe 6 feet behind me. And I'm kind of scanning the ground quick, and I reach in my pockets. Not that a pocket knife was going to help, but I was just checking to see if I had anything on me. But the fastest thing my brain could calculate or come up with was a bobcat, even though they're not in our area in Cedar Lake in that town. And I turned back to look at him, and I tell him bobcat real quick, and he kind of rolls his eyes at me like, yeah, right. But at the time, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, what would weigh enough to jump out of a branch and make it whip around like that and not make a noise when it hits the ground? So I'm, I guess, waiting for a bobcat to like creep up and pounce on us, I guess. And it never happened. So I'm like super confused at that point, and I'm still kind of scanning the area that the branch is at, the tree on both sides, looking around. And then the luck of God or something, I catch some movement coming down out of the sky. Not like completely straight down, but it had a little bit of an angle to it. And as I'm looking up at it, all I see is kind of like a black blob shape, and it's getting closer. And at this point, I think it's maybe 20 feet away when I start to realize this thing has eyes and it's not just a black blob like shape. And I didn't freeze yet because I was still in disbelief of what I was seeing, I guess. So I'm still standing there thinking, like, did I stumble on like a low budget movie set and this thing's on a rope or something? I was like, I guess what I thought in my mind.
So how long was the wingspan? I know you said that the actual body was 6 feet long on this owl. So
yeah, I never got to see the legs, or at least I don't remember seeing the legs during all this, but I was in, I guess, shock pretty much for the most part. So
right.
I don't ever remember. I don't know if they tucked their legs in or they keep behind it, but it was in a dive motion to where its head was first, and like the rest of its body was, I guess, like on an angle up by the sky. But the wingspan, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but one wing had to easily been like 15 feet, if not bigger, and then its like body torso was probably at least 3 feet. So we're looking at like 30 foot of wingspan at least. I mean, being 12 would be generous, and it would definitely have been bigger than 12 each wing. But as it's coming down into the dive motion, I guess I lock onto its eyes, and because I kind of see them come out first, like out of the black blob shape when everything starts to come into detail. And there's a street, like a telephone pole light on each end of this little strip of woods. So there's a little light behind us and a little light in front of us. But so it wasn't completely dark. But when I started looking at its eyes, which were yellow with like black centers, they were at least the size of like baseballs, if not a little bit bigger, but at least the size of baseballs. And then it had black rings around its eyes that were at least probably maybe 3 inches wide. So the circles going around its eyes, the yellow eyes were black. And there was a few inches of space in between these black circles in the middle, and then a few inches of space on the sides of its head, I guess, where like we would have ears on the side of our head, but its ears were on the top of its head. And the ears were shaped like horns. They weren't horns, but they were shaped like horns, like they were hooked in instead of just being triangles sitting on top of its head.
Right.
They were kind of like hooked in like, I guess, horns of some animal would be. But they were easily pushing like almost a foot, the ears alone. And yeah, I'm just standing there, I guess, still in disbelief. And my eyes, after I locked onto its eyes and realized how big those were, and these rings are these rings that are around the eyeballs are at least the size of like mini basketballs or volleyballs. So it gives you, I guess, a little bit of an idea how big its head was to have those rings with a little bit of space in the middle and on the end. And I'm, like I said, I'm still in disbelief. Like, this isn't real. This doesn't exist. Like, what is happening right now? But I move my eyes to its belly, and when I do that, it almost like hypnotized me. Like, 'cause the feathers on the belly were so like shiny, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like they were dipped in like liquid silver paint somehow. It looked that shiny, like they just never looked like a bird's feathers that I've ever seen. And there was a black grid dot pattern on its belly. So like every maybe inch or two, there was a black dot, perfect, and it wasn't staggered or anything. It was like almost perfectly placed black dots on the silver feathers on the belly. And I kind of went to that for a second, back to its eyes, and then back to its belly as it's coming for me, because I'm in the front. My buddy's, like I said, maybe 5-6 feet behind me. And as it's closing in, I'm thinking, man, I almost wanted to like faint, I guess, out of disbelief or wake up out of the dream, like this isn't happening. And at that point, it's probably maybe like 15 feet away from me, because everything went into slow motion for me to, like, I guess, see detail and decide if I was going to run or stay or what I was going to do. But as it's getting in closer to me, maybe like 10 feet, I'm thinking in my head, is this guy punishing me for making fun of that guy that's seen it 3 years before me, the worst, and this is what I get? But then it comes to my mind, like, I got to move. I got to run, crawl, do something other than just stand there and watch this thing hit me. And when I go to move, I can't. It feels like my feet are just being held down to the ground. And I've never experienced shock, I guess, up to that point, if that's what that was. But I tried to turn, twist, and I could move my like upper body, because I kind of looked back at it, my buddy for a second. And when I twisted, I seen him in the view. His eyes looked like they were going to fall out of his head. They were like so big, like, because he was looking at this thing coming to get me, not him. And he already backed up a little bit, because when I did the twist to see where he was at, he was probably like maybe 10-12 feet behind me at that point. He was like kind of backing up towards the big tree. And I just felt like I was a sitting duck. So the only thing I could come up with in my mind was to dive with the upper half of my body, like behind me and to the left, just to go towards him and to that bigger tree. And when I did, I only made it maybe 3 feet away from where I was standing, and I landed on my face in the dirt. And then this is a little bit of a hill, like an incline, because we were almost to the center of the ravine, which there was a ditch running.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did this twist and landed, I landed on my face and my chest. And the first thing that came to my mind was like, yes, I finally moved out of the spot I was standing in, because it felt like my feet were in like concrete or something was holding them. And I flipped over instantly just to see how far away the owl was, because the last time I seen it, it was like 10-12 feet away, and it was coming head first from me. So when I flipped over on my back, I realized that it was real close at that point, maybe like 6 feet away. And I started to like crab walk or scramble backwards on my feet, like, I guess, like a crab or a spider. And I started to get back on, and I'm going up a slight incline too. And it was the luck of God, I guess, that little sapling tree that my buddy climbed to get away from the dog 2 weeks before this happened.
Mm-hmm.
It bumped into my shoulder, because I wasn't turning my head or my neck back. I was just staying focused on it, because it was just that close at that point. And when I felt it bump into my shoulder and I seen what it was, I kind of grabbed it with both hands and pulled myself around it, because I was still on the ground. And at this point, the owl decides to put on the brakes, because I got this little tree in between, and this tree at the base is maybe like 8 inches, maybe 10 inches. So like up where my head's at, which is only a couple feet off the ground, is maybe like 6 or 8, somewhere in between there, thick like the sapling. And this owl puts on the brakes, and when he puts on the brakes, he opens his wings up. So I finally got to see its wingspan or its spread or whatever. And there really wasn't like a supernatural aspect of this whole encounter or what was happening. But when it did open its wings, the color wasn't the shininess of the belly. It was almost like a little bit of like a camouflage, I guess. But it was like gray, black, and maybe like an off-white, but it didn't really have the silver on the wings. But that's when I realized, oh man, like this thing's huge. Just because I got to see that 12, 15-foot wing on each side of this tree with its body, and it started backpedaling. And when it was backpedaling, it kind of sounded like maybe like a helicopter, like way off in the distance, not like the motor sound, but the blade sound, like pum, 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 when it was backpedaling. And it would have been my right side, its left side. It decided to come around while it was backpedaling, to come around this little sapling tree, and it like dipped its head like it was going to try to grab me again. So I moved to the left more to where it kind of had to counter that move, and it started to backpedal back around to its right side, my left, and it did that motion again like it was going to dip its head and neck down towards me. And like at this point, if I was standing up behind this tree, I probably could have maybe touched the belly of it. That's like how close it was. And when it got on its right side, my left, I countered and went back to, because it's the only thing I could think of. I didn't think I was going to be able to outrun it, and I was still like, at this point, I was kind of like doing the squatting position where I guess like my butt is by my feet, but I'm like up on my feet actually instead of laying down, and I'm like holding the tree for balance, I guess, to go in back and forth. And I got back on the other side, so it came back to the original side where when I pulled myself around, like its left side when it was going to grab me. And I'm thinking in my mind, oh God, this thing isn't going to give up. Like this thing's going to keep going until it grabs me or something. And after I did that the third time, I guess it had enough. So it turned around and flew up in the tree that was maybe 30 feet away up at the top. But I was going to tell you that, like I said, I didn't feel like there was any supernatural aspect of it, like it was some type of demonic. I mean, later on, I thought about that, just wondering because I didn't know what to think. But when it opened its wings, it did seem like it got lighter. That was the only weird, I guess, supernatural aspect of the whole story, was when it did open those big wings finally, it seemed like it like got a little bit lighter out somehow, maybe from the white of the feathers that, there's so much of it. I'm not sure. But it sat up in that tree at the top that was maybe 40, 50 feet tall, and there was no leaves on any of the trees yet, so I could see it perfect. And it was so black on the outside that the sky around it, where the stars were and everything, because I feel like there isn't a lot of light in that area other than like the few street lamps on poles sporadically and on the streets and stuff. So you could tell that it was like blacker than the sky, that it was around like a silhouette, and it looked like not just a man up in the tree. It looked like an overweight man up in the tree, like dressed in a Batman costume or something.
Does this thing have arms? For you in the chat.
No arms. It just had wings, but I see no arms. When it opened them up, I kind of got that detail pretty good. Because like I said, at that point when it opened its wings, if I was standing, I could have probably leaned over towards it and touched its belly. It was so close.
Wow. Hey, one man.
I don't remember.
What's that? What's going on, Sean?
Man just popped in. Yeah, one man. He's our resident Aboriginal fellow. He doesn't like me to say anything about little people, but there you go.
But no, it didn't have any arms at all. It just had wings like a normal bird would. And when it sat up in this tree, I kind of looked around on the ground real quick, looking for any type of protection because I didn't have anything on me. And I found a small log that was maybe like 2 feet, maybe 3 feet long, and maybe like 3 inches wide or whatever. And I figured it was better than nothing, but I'm thinking in my mind, it's taking a break, and it's going to come right back down to try it again. It's not like it flew away. It just flew 30 feet away and sat in this tree. So I'm thinking it's just getting its a little mini rest, and it's going to come right back down and grab us. So I don't even turn to look at my buddy. I'm just telling him like, hey, pick up a stick. I think we're going to have to fight our way out of this to get to our friend's house.
Let me ask you this question.
What's that?
Hey, let me,
You were kinda
yeah,
breaking up.
yeah, man. Let me ask you this question. So I know Sean asked
Yeah,
earlier about, he asked, if, some features of it, but it had no human features, like at all. Like it was just an owl.
No, zero. It looked like up to that point, the biggest owl I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a few of them just being out at dark or fishing, were maybe like a foot tall. Like,
Did you hear laughter?
not any more than 12. What's that?
Did you hear any laughter?
No, zero.
No laughter.
The only noise I got for that 3 minutes of what went on probably was the sound of that tree branch sounding like a wooden diving board, and then its wings always resonated in my memory, I guess, from it going like thump, thump, thump. Because when it was backpedaling, it was cupping so much air, I guess, because its wings were 15 foot wide that it was like making like if a helicopter, if you could hear the blades, I guess, off in the distance instead of the motor, that kind of like thump noise, like thump, 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 like every time it was. And then I looked up later on that birds don't backpedal unless it's like a hummingbird. So that was kind of crazy too. But when I was sitting up there, I'm telling my buddy to grab a stick to protect himself, and he's telling me to look at something. And I don't want to take my eyes off of the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I keep ignoring what he's talking about, and I'm just telling him, like getting kind of mad, even though I've never been mad at him or anything. I'm like, hey, dude, pick up a stick. Like, I'm being for real right now. Like, help me fight our way out of this if this is what's going to happen. Because it still didn't move, and the owl wasn't looking at us, towards us or anything. It like had its back turned. Like, how, like, I don't know if people like have been around cats where sometimes like a cat will be that way, where it'll just kind of turn its back, even if you're calling it, and it'll just ignore you. That's kind of like how it looked, I guess, to where it was just frustrated or mad. And I'm telling him, like, hey man, pick up a stick. I'm kind of getting frustrated with him. And he starts tapping behind me on my shoulder, my left side. And he's like, no, look. And I'm like, finally, I get so mad, I turn that to him for a second, and I don't want to cuss online or on the show, but I was just like, what the F could be more important than me keeping my eyes on this owl? And he tells me to look, and he points, and when he points, he starts to like fan his hand out, and like about maybe 50 feet behind us, there's 5 other babies, like not all in the same tree, but like spread out maybe 10, 15 feet apart. But they're just sitting there watching us. And these babies, they got big eyes, but they're maybe like almost 3 feet tall, but they don't have any pointed ears. They don't have like they're like smooth, because you could tell that's how black they are, I guess, when they're not opening their wings. But you could tell the top of their head was smooth, like there wasn't no pointy ears, like this mom or I call it the mom because I had the babies with it. But its ears were so big, like I said, they were pushing a foot themselves. This head and the torso was easily 6 feet, because that's how, like I said, if I stood up and reached out from that little tree when I was behind it, and it was trying to, like, after it opened its wings and it was trying to grab me, I could see at least 6 foot, if not bigger, plus its ears being another foot, which would take it over. So I know it sounds super crazy, but I never seen its legs or its feet.
You're saying this thing was 7 foot tall?
Yeah, and that's without seeing its legs.
So that's just on the
you said
perch.
6 feet. You said 6 feet to me before.
Well, 6 feet, but then the ears were almost pushing a foot. But I'm saying from the top of its head without the ears to the bottom of its belly, where when it was up close by me, was 6 foot, and then the ears were almost a foot. But I never seen its legs. I don't know if it had them behind it somehow or something, so I wouldn't know what to add. Because I'd like to maybe go through like hypno regression to see if maybe because of the shock, I forgot or lost the detail, and I might have seen its beak or its legs. But being head on, it makes me wonder why I don't have a picture or an image of its like beak or anything. Or maybe it was black, and that's why I didn't see the detail of the beak or anything. But when my buddy shows me,
I got a few questions for you
behind us. Because the baby, what's that?
I got a few questions for you, man.
Okay. problem.
I just that's interesting. You know, I have heard stories, you know, of very, very tall owls. Are you in? Is this on Indian? Is this an Indian country? Where is this? Where is this? You don't have to give me the state. You just give me
No,
kind
this
of.
is Cedar Lake, and it's right down the street where I grew up.
Okay.
Well, that's another reason why I really didn't want to believe this kid that said he's seen a 4-foot one 3 years earlier. Because I was like, man, I've been in these woods all around here at nighttime, way past 10 o'clock. So it's like I just thought he was something maybe was going on in his house, and he was just looking for attention. Right? I kind of felt bad for him when he was telling us this.
And so you said I'm just trying to make sure because I caught the tail end of this story. It's interesting. It's very interesting to me.
Okay.
So this thing just looked like a regular owl. There was nothing out of the ordinary. Like if you just saw a regular owl.
Minus because I obviously went and looked up like every species of owl I could get a picture of online, and none of them had the silver belly. And I knew I was looking maybe for like the horned owl because it did have horn-looking ears, but none of the pictures of the horned owls looked like the ears this one had. So I mean, it mind boggled me because I don't know how a species of anything could be amongst us and somebody not get more sightings. But then when 2015 hit and Chicago started getting all the flying humanoid reports, I was at work building houses at that point still, and I made everybody stop what they were doing so I could hear the radio because they were talking about all these police reports of winged humanoids in Chicago, and this is like 2015, and I was like, yes, somebody's finally going to get a picture, or somebody's going to shoot one of these things or something. And what I seen and what the kids before me seen, everybody's going to know or find out about finally. But like I said, the dots on the belly, if somebody ever does get a picture or somehow gets one of these things, if it has the black dots on the silver belly, then that's exactly what I seen. And if it's obviously big and has those ears. But yeah,
that's a pretty interesting story, man.
He's pointing and showing me these. What's that? You had another question?
No, that's a definitely pretty interesting story. You know, I've heard, you know, I've had family members that have seen not something. Now it sounds like you said a silver belly, regular. You said a regular looking owl. You know, I've had family members who've seen an owl with a man's body. You know, I've seen them do all types of stuff.
Yeah, it was almost like somebody took an owl and blew it up in a machine to make it bigger somehow, I guess. That's why I guess I was in such disbelief at first that I wasn't even trying to run. I was thinking, what I was looking at, I thought was fake until it got close enough to where I was like, oh shit, like this thing is real, and I got to move or it's gonna grab me. Like I don't think that many people have ever got as close to look as I did without becoming a missing person. I think anybody that's come across maybe one of these things probably didn't live to tell the story. It was just the luck that branch in the tree was there. Because, I mean, if I would have had a sidearm on me, it would have had a different ending, and you guys would have found out in 2007 when I had bagged one and somebody decided to. I'll tell you what happened after this all occurred or whatever, though. But I'm going to finish with what happened, though. My buddy, he's pointing at all these small ones behind us, and like I said, they got smooth heads. None of them have the pointed ears, so I'm assuming they were babies, but they were almost 3 foot tall. They were at least 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
And when I seen that, I looked back at the mom because at that point I didn't want to take my eyes off of it. And then when he got mad and told me to look, I looked at the baby ones, and when I looked back, this thing turned its head like the infamous owl, how it turns its head to like look behind it almost. And when it did that, its eyes were red this time instead of yellow when I seen it up close. So I'm assuming it was reflecting the light off of the orange old street lights on those roads. And that's how the red decided to shine instead of when it was real up close and the light wasn't reflecting and I could see the yellow. So I'm wondering how many times somebody thought they seen a Mothman. I mean, I'm not trying to discredit anyone that has seen something that's similar to the Mothman with the arms and the legs, and maybe that's what they're seeing too. but I'm wondering how many times someone's seen it from the distance and thought it was the Mothman, and it was really one of these big species of owls. But when it did that, it turned its head, and I seen those red eyes. I was like, man, let's just make a run for it. And we ran to my buddy's house, ran up the stairs because he lived on the second floor of his house or whatever. And I just busted open his door, didn't even knock, and was just like out of breath. And he was just like, well, what are you guys doing? Like, 'cause he was sitting in his living room, and we kicked in the door and just like ran out of there or whatever. And I was like, man, Kevin said that he's seen that owl 3 years ago that was 4 foot tall. Either he's seen a different one or this thing got bigger, because the one I seen was bigger than me. And he kind of like, he was playing video games, and he paused it, and he was just like, what? And I was like, yeah, Kevin, like, I was like, you know how we were making fun of Kevin this whole time for seeing this owl? I was like, I don't know if it was a taste of my own medicine or what, but we just seen one that was bigger than 6 foot tall. And he believed me because he just knew that, like, I'm that type of person that just make something up. I'll sit there quiet if I have nothing to say.
Mm-hmm.
But after the next day, I come up with a plan that whole night. I didn't have internet at home, so I wasn't able to like search anything that night. And I come up with a plan. I was like, I went and I bought a Sony night shot, the night vision cameras from the 90s, like the late 90s. And the night vision on it isn't like super good, but there wasn't no leaves on the tree. I figured I wanted to at least get footage of it, if at the least. But I loaded up. I was armed. He brought a gun, and I brought a gun. I had 25 rounds. I was waiting for the second appearance of this thing because it was going to play out different. But we sat out there on weekends, and I didn't have kids or family at that point or anything, so it was like I had extra time every night that was after work or whatever, and I have extra time. I'd hang out there sometimes by myself with a gun, and sometimes the guy that was with me would come with his gun, and we'd just sit there, and I always brought hot dogs, and I'd kind of like throw them out in the area to attract raccoons, which sometimes they came to eat the hot dog pieces that I would throw out or whatever, but owls never showed up again. I mean, at this point in my life, I don't want to kill it, but I would love to have a picture or proof. So, I mean, I've been dealing with an injury for almost the last 10 years from 2x6 hit me in the head. And
Oh, wow.
I kept working, thinking I was going to work it off for a few years. So it kind of dug myself into a hole. But this year or last year, I'm finally doing a little better. So I'm thinking about climbing some trees and maybe putting trail cams up at the beginning of the spring so I can maybe get a picture. Because I'm thinking the spot's special where it happened. Because what's the chances of the guy 3 years before me seeing an owl in the same exact, like where he took us to show us where he said that owl that was 4 foot tall was sitting in the trail was maybe 10, 15 feet away from where this thing tried to get me. So
Hey.
I don't know why, but I don't know if because that town is like a high point, because everything south of us goes downhill. So Cedar Lake is kind of like a high point. So I don't know if this thing stops for a snack, like a Burger King or McDonald's on the migration route. I don't believe it lives in Cedar Lake, Indiana. I think it cuts through is what I come to conclusion after I started doing like all the searching for any bits and clues and pieces I could hear of anyone seeing anything big like an owl. And like I said, 2015 came around because this happened to me in 2007. So another 2015, another 8 years later, all these people were, I mean, I think there was like 29 or 30 police reports made. So I'm wondering how many people that didn't even report it. Because I wasn't going to call someone and tell anybody what I seen, like the cops, or I figured I'd sound crazy until I showed up with a dead one. But yeah, we never seen it or anything. But I did find a couple stories that kind of had clues or bits and pieces. That there was a girl, or it was a family, and he had 2 daughters, and he was a writer in England, in UK, and he rented this cottage, I guess, in Cornwall, I think was the name of the town, and his daughters came back writing saying that they seen owl the size of a man. The dad thought it was a guy after his daughters because they were like 9 and 11, and he got the cops involved, and the cops ended up seeing the owl too because they had the girls take them where where it happened on this property that they rented for the summer. And the little girl drew a picture of the black dot grid pattern on the belly. And this is in 1976. And that was the only picture that I come across that anyone described anything close to what I was seeing. But in 2015 in Chicago, there was a few people that got a pretty close and up personal look at it, to where they said it was a large black owl, and that's what they seen. And there was Mexican nationality people that said that they were calling it a lechuza because it was a huge owl, and they were throwing rocks at it. It was close enough, but most of the other people thought it was a Mothman, but those are also most of the people that didn't see an up close view of this big owl. So it made me wonder if maybe maybe they all seen an owl, but then again, maybe they didn't, because some of the people said they seen skin membrane on what they seen, so that would have been something completely different. But yeah, I mean, I dove in it after that, trying to find anything I could. Looked into the dinosaur aspect, like trying to figure out where on the timeline this thing might have fit in after the dinosaurs or something, thinking maybe somehow this thing survived extinction and it's just been around. And the only stories I found, other than the police reports in Chicagoland area and a few sporadic ones in like Wisconsin and Minnesota, was a lot of Indian legends. Had it, the Apaches had it. They would tell their kids not to cry at night, or the big owl would get them. You know, someone called them the flying heads, which this thing had a huge head. But yeah, I mean, I went back to that spot numerous times, hoping that maybe I'd find an owl pellet that would be huge or something, just to have some more detail on it or something like that. But I never
got a quick question for you from GNA in the chat. Wants to know, did anything after your encounters happen to you with this creature?
I did experience the Bigfoot family, which was less than, no, it wasn't less. It was probably about a mile or two away from where this happened. But I did see a UFO craft in 1999 with my little brother when we were fishing on Potato Creek State Park. You're not supposed to be on the lake at nighttime or after dark, and we were out there because we rented the boat for the weekend. And it never, I got so paranoid about it that I took the boat off the lake, and me and him sat in the car until it went away. But at first, I thought it was maybe like a planet that just came into view, and we were able to see it without a telescope, like one of those rarity. I don't get into like watching the stars or anything like that, so I don't know stuff like that. But that's what we assumed it was. But then when it started zipping through the sky and changing diagonal directions and putting the brakes on and doing circle patterns, and then after it did the circle pattern, it was doing like an oval shape. A little one popped out, and this thing was like not red, but like an orangish, almost red. And as it's doing a circle motion, a little one pops out while it's doing the circle motion, and it's mimicking what the big one was doing. That's why I took the boat off the lake and we sat in the car. Not that the car is going to help if you're going to get beamed up, but I just felt safer, like we could drive away or something at that point, because we only had a trolling motor on the boat. So it wasn't like you could run faster than a trolling motor will go at full speed for the most part. So we just kind of got scared and got off the lake. But other than that, I don't know if that has any correlation to this weird stuff I seen after, or if it was just luck that happened. But I wasn't missing any time or anything like that. Yeah, the Bigfoot scenario was a whole nother like thing, but that was, like I said, probably a year, maybe two afterwards. But then after that, I mean, I really haven't seen anything, but I also don't live in that town anymore, and I'm not out past midnight in the woods anymore also. But no, I'm just hoping one day, that's why I even pray sometimes before your show, Sean, hoping that somebody's going to call in from the surrounding area and be like, hey man, I seen exactly what you're talking about, and add to it or something. But I am part Apache and part Mexican and half German, so I didn't know if it was at first like somebody summoned this thing and that's why I seen it, or it was bloodline related and that's why I got to see it. But my buddy isn't the same nationality as me at all, any of them, and he witnesses. He don't like to talk about it. Actually, when I was telling his dad one night, because we were in his yard, and he lives a street over for where it happened, and there was an owl hooting, and I was telling him the story, and he's like, "Man, that's crazy," and he believed me 100%. And I was like, "Wait a minute, my buddy's name's Josh." I'm like, Josh didn't tell you the story?" And hold on one second, I gotta tell my little kid.
That's I mean, to me, that's definitely a pretty interesting story, especially with the size. But to me, it might be just an owl because it had little ones. Another explanation,
Yeah,
in my opinion,
5, maybe 6 little ones. I was kind of panicking at that point when I was like, "Man, they're behind us. There's big ones in front of us.
Yeah,
what the hell is going on here?"
Well, my thing is,
like I said, if I had a gun, I feel bad about saying it now, but I probably would have shot them all.
Oh wow.
Yeah, another explanation could be when it comes to like when you see little ones. Most times, I haven't never heard a story of any. I'm Muskogee Creek, Cherokee, Cheyenne, Arapaho, and Kiowa. And out of all those tribes, I have never heard anything about any native, like any shapeshifter or anything of that nature, having little ones with it. Now that could be something new. Who really knows?
Like a Lechuzo almost.
Maybe. I mean, I don't really know a lot of that type of stuff. But
Mexican folklore.
Yeah, I'm not really have a lot of information on that. But I like I said, I'm in my opinion, I think it's just a big old owl. I mean, sometimes
right, but it's like, how does a species that big go undetected? This thing has to live somewhere, and it's obviously traveling at nighttime, which limits the sightings. But where is it staying at, and why is it cutting through Cedar Lake, Indiana?
Yeah, who knows, man? That's one thing.
What was the chances of this guy seeing a 4-foot one 3 years earlier? Like, if I would have seen mine one place and he would have seen his in a completely different side of the town, I would have just thought it was luck. But the fact that those 5 babies were with this mom, maybe they're kind of trained or programmed to stop there to grab a snack on the migration route too. I'm not sure. But the fact that he seen it sitting in the trail and where it came down at me was 15 feet away. I almost find that like spot to be special. But
it also could be a hunting ground for them too.
Lived in the town where I was at one point.
Wow. So I have heard several theories about Cherokee and Irish. If you have Cherokee and Irish blood in you,
it's Black Dutch.
No.
Now, if you have that bloodline in you, you start seeing a lot of UFOs and paranormal whatnot. I've heard that on several different occasions. And my great grandmother on my dad's side, she was half Cherokee. Can't tell you other than that. I've had some people say, "No, we didn't have any Cherokee blood in me," and my sister said, "Yeah, I think we do have it." Other than I just have to wait and see if my sister does that DNA.
Yeah,
I only have one type of Indian in me.
It's called Scott Irish, Black Dutch. My mom is actually technically Black Dutch because she's Cherokee and she's has that Irish. It's based out of Texas. That's where my mom's family kind of where they came from, and we came up here to Oklahoma. But no, that's that story. Hey, that's a pretty good story, man. I have I don't hear very many of those, especially when it's just perched. I usually hear it flying or something like that.
The fact that I got that detail, like I said, I don't think too many people. I think if I would have continued to look at its feathers on the belly instead of its eyes and going back and forth back to its eyes, I think it might almost like froze me completely, and it would have just grabbed me. And then I told my buddy, he's lucky I was in front and he was behind me, because it probably would have grabbed him before I put it together. And his parents and everybody would be like, "What happened to our son?" And I'd be getting a murder charge because they'd listen to my story and they'd be like, "Yeah, right, okay. Your vehicle's at his house and he's missing and there's blood in this woods. What'd you do with him?"
That's wild.
But I was telling his dad this, and I was just like, man, didn't Josh tell you the story? And he's like, yeah, he told me about it, but he's like, I just thought he was making it up. He's like, after you told me, he's like, I believe you 100%. But he's just like, I just kind of, he blew off his own son, like, you know, like, why are you making stuff up?
Well, it's kind of hard to sit there and tell something like that, even to people that.
Right. I know it sounds super crazy, but like I said, if one day they're going to find this thing, then the dot pattern is going to prove what I seen. But other than that, I mean, I got my hopes up.
And you're going to go out and install trail cams or something like that? Did you say this?
Yeah, I'm
this
thinking
season?
about climbing a couple trees right there and putting a couple, like maybe one angle kind of up, or in that another one in the area where it stopped for me and him, the other guy that seen it, and hope and pray, I guess. Maybe if I pray enough, maybe it'll surface. Or yeah, like I said, I went for a while thinking like, did somebody summon this thing with magic? But the fact that it had the babies with just blew my mind. Like, this thing's a species and it's living there. Like I said, the only super weird part, other than the owl being that big and me seeing all the detail, was when it opened its wings, it was almost like that area in front of its wings got lighter out somehow. Like, it wasn't like somebody turned on a lantern, but it was almost like I could see a little bit better when it opened its wings. But like I said, this strip of woods is pretty long because it goes the length of these dead-end roads. But wide-wise, where we were cutting through, it's only 100 yards plus, so we were able to see a little bit of light from each street lamp on each side of the road in between. And when it had the red eyes and turned back to look at me later on, I was reading all these Mothman stories thinking, well, maybe some of these people misidentified what they seen. But I'm not like discrediting anybody that did see the Mothman, because maybe they did see what they seen. I wasn't there, I don't know. But the fact that it had those big red eyes when it looked back and was being reflected off the street made me wonder how many times this thing has been misidentified and people seen something different. And then I come across one other story which really blew my mind, because it was from the late 1800s, and it was, I want to say, in Missouri. And it was a councilman, and that was the only reason why I guess it was credited as a real story or anything then. But this guy was trout fishing in a creek before it got light out, like I guess at like 3, 4 in the morning, and he heard something. And when he looked up, he got eye-to-eye view, which wasn't too far away, of owl bigger than him carrying a limp dead horse. So I don't know how big the horse was or if the story was true, but this guy claimed all the hair on his body like stood up on end, because it looked down at him like eye to eye and screeched at him while it was flying away with his horse. I don't know how big what I seen, because I'm assuming what was the one that was coming after me could have probably picked me up, because it already sized me up. So this thing's probably eating deer at times. But I mean, originally it was going for that raccoon that got scared away, but I became thinner, I guess, maybe out of desperation, because it was trying to feed its young. But I never seen the small ones get out of the tree. I never seen them fly, because when my buddies pointed that out, they were behind us and this big one was in front of us. That's when it jumped out of the tree and shook the tree it was in and flew, I guess, to the northeast of the direction we were facing. And that's when I realized the big one was not after us anymore and flying away, we kind of went diagonally left and to my buddy's house.
Wow.
And then before that, years before that, we would hear owls in that woods when we'd be at my buddy's house, and sometimes we'd hear them over the stereo and stuff. So, but we never like went out there. I never would. I just assumed it was some loud 1-foot owls, normal sized ones, and it would almost sound like monkeys at times, like on top of being like making the hoot noise. They would like, I don't know if they're doing like a mating call or what they're doing, but had I seen this one, then heard all those noises, I would have been out there with a flashlight instantly trying to figure out or see or take a picture or anything. But yeah, like I said, I actually don't even live in that town anymore. I'm a couple towns over from it. So I still have a lot of family and friends that live in that town. So, and actually I started asking, like the first person I told after it happened was my dad, and he believed me 100% because he knows I don't make stuff up. But He's like, you know what? I seen one that was probably pushing 3 feet one night when you were a kid out in our yard or whatever, but it wasn't after him or anything like that. That's what he had. And then I have a real good friend that I was actually trying to get him to call in that had the fallen angel story, and he lived in the haunted house. I'm hoping one day he calls in, because I can't give his story the justice that he can, because then he can even ask him questions that I can't answer or anything. But
I'd love
he
to hear
said that him
the Fallen Angel story.
like I said, one day he's going to call in. I keep pestering him about it, but I'm not trying to like super pester him about it. But he said that him and his brother got cats one year because somebody was giving them away or whatever, and they were kind of in between the not adult stage but not the kitten stage, so they were like mid-sized, and they would kind of follow them around, and they lived close to each other, these two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And they would cut through the woods instead of driving or whatever. And he said that his cat was following him over to his brother's house at night, and he heard something, and when he turned around, all he seen was the cat getting drugged by something black with wings. And he's like, man, this thing was pushing close to 4 feet. So he's like, I believe what you said you seen, because I would have never thought an owl was that big. And he said the cat just kind of cried out around, and that was the last time he ever seen his cat. And he's like, I'm pretty sure that's what I seen. But the guy that I made fun of the worst about it, though,
Mm-hmm.
I never told him that I seen what he seen or apologized or anything. He actually moved to southern Indiana, but I guess I will if I ever see him, but I don't like have Facebook or keep up with people like that on social media or anything. But I kind of felt bad, like, man, I made fun of this kid so bad about it. I at least owe him an apology for it.
Well, at least has anybody else seen anything like that besides you? Since then.
Well, like my buddy and his cat getting taken away was a couple of years after I seen it, and then one of my friends, after I was telling him that, said when he was like a teenager, around 14, 15, he was driving a snowmobile in the park that I seen the Bigfoot family and heard them one night, that he was on the snowmobile, which you're not allowed to be in there after dark or on a snowmobile, so it was like a double whammy as far as his crime charge. But excuse me, he said he looked up because he just had this feeling, and when he looked up, there was an owl that was maybe 20 feet above him, keeping up with him on the snowmobile, and he had another person on the back too, and he said it kept up with him for a while before it actually flew off, but he said it was pretty good size. He said the wingspan was maybe like 8 foot from tip to tip. It wasn't the big one that I seen, but he just had to tell me that after I was telling him the story. He's like, man, I seen an owl that was pretty close. And like I said, where this park is only maybe 2 miles from where this happened to me and this other kid.
Wow. Got any other questions there, one man?
I'm good, man. Yep, hey, that was a great story.
That was a fantastic story. It's worth hearing again.
Like I said, I pray that one day I get the closure that I'm looking for.
Well, you keep looking, eventually
like,
you'll find something.
I was hoping that I was going to shoot it one of those nights that after it happened, because I kind of took it personal, like, okay, you ain't come after me. Let's see it again this time when I got a gun and you got claws. And I was hoping to bag it and sell it to Monster Quest or something like that, because I figured, man, the show's been going on too long to not find anything or have any proof of anything. They can take it off my hands for $500,000.
I don't know. I think that they probably had some cases where they probably turned it away at the behest of something ABC organization.
Later on, I kind of thought that they'd probably show up on me and be like, "Yep, we're taking this. You didn't see nothing."
Well, Bald Nightmares told me a story similar to that he had some evidence that ABC company come by his house, said it would be in your best interest to let us have what you've got. So I believe the fella, no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's why after 2015, when all the Chicagoland reports came out or whatever, I was like, man, closure is near. Somebody's going to see this thing and get a real good picture, or somebody's going to shoot it, or a cop's going to shoot it, or somebody.
Right. Well, the thing of it is I've got a zoologist friend that said that there was a big great horned owl migration during 2015. That's when Lon Strickler came out and started talking about the Mothman slash Owlman kind of stuff. And it kind of went to Mothman up there in the Chicago
Right.
area. So,
Yeah, that's why I was wondering if maybe some of these people that seen it far away might have misidentified it. But like I said, I'm not trying to discredit anybody that's seen it close enough.
Well, you
But
gotta,
had I not seen it that close and would have seen those red eyes in the tree like that,
right.
I would have thought it was a demon, and it wouldn't have been an owl story. It'd have been like, I thought I seen a demon one night story.
I know. Well, does an owl have a red eye shine? I don't know. I'm familiar with
it
owls,
after the
but not
street
that.
light shined on it, but I know it had yellow eyes, and when it was coming towards me, I could see that they were yellow. They weren't
Okay.
like glowing yellow, but I could see that they were yellow because the rest of it was kind of like black.
That's wild. Wow. Well, James, I appreciate you calling in with that story again. I always enjoy you hearing it. Anytime that you can coax that friend of yours to call in about that fallen angel story, I'd love to hear it.
Definitely. Like I said, I've been working at it, but I don't bother him too much about it. But whenever I do bring up, hey, I'd like you to call into the show because I'm not going to do it any justice. He usually ends up telling me something or something he forgot out of it. And I'm like, man, maybe I can just record you one day and play the recording or something. I don't know how he feels about calling. I was like, you don't have to leave your name or anything, but I don't know how he feels about.
Yeah, he could go by whatever he wanted to go by. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm sure a lot of a healthy percentage of people that call into my show probably don't drop their own name like one man band or whatever. But there you go.
Yeah, when I signed up for YouTube for the account, I didn't realize that putting my name and the full name or whatever was going to show up. I thought at some point they were going to ask me for like your username or whatever, and I was going to punch that in, but I guess I was too lazy to go back and erase it and put in a username instead of my regular full name. So, but actually I go by Jack. No one calls me James except like the doctor.
Or
they didn't even call
your
me James
wife
in
if she's
school.
mad
I
at
was
you.
by Jack.
All right. Well, Jack, I appreciate you calling in with this story. That I honestly, you've said it, told it twice, and I don't think you've added or really subtracted from the story. So I believe that you've seen the thing. I honestly, 6 to 7 foot tall. Well, I believe he's left. Okay,
Well,
Jack, I appreciate you. He gone. He just all right. Bye. He's like Wes Vick when he calls Wes, I know that you call me a lot. I have no problems with you calling you, but when he's done, and he hangs up. He doesn't say goodbye. All right, man. Let the fellow to go. He's a hoot to talk to, I tell you. But what's going on with you, buddy?
Man, I'm just hanging out. I heard the story. I was like, man, that's pretty.
Yeah,
I was like a good owl story. I do. I really. It's like a what do they call that? Like a guilty pleasure.
Oh man! So any of your ancestors or your people that come across with these great owlmen stories?
Well, I haven't heard. I mean, my uncle back when he was in elementary school, where we're from, he got off the bus with his. So it was both my uncles. It was my dad. So it was the middle kid and then the youngest one. My dad's youngest brothers. But they saw a man fly over them with wings.
Wow.
And I asked him about it. He said, man, I had totally forgot about that story. I said, man, yeah, because you was, like when you have trauma and you see something you're not ready to see and you just kind of blank it out of your mind as a kid. That's kind of what he did. But I guess it spooked him out and they ran home and, Grandpa had to do some things. But that's the thing, man. When it comes to those types of stories, you can never tell with an owl because there's some people that hold them in high regard and they enjoy owls, and then there's people like me who I'm like, I'm good.
Wow. So what have you seen that you just said, I can't do this no more, and I'm not going to talk about this particular subject matter because I just don't want any smoke from that?
Man, I'll tell you here. When it comes to like Wicca and magic and medicine, man, I had that story that I told about the girl that I used to mess around with. Man, that's why I'm so skittish.
The bloody milkshake one.
Whatever she did, yeah, goodness, yeah, man. That just
I had an offline discussion with Vault, and I'm not that I'm not up on the magic or anything like that. I'm perfectly dumb to it. I'll just pray it away and move on. But what he told me, what might be in that.
Man,
that shake,
I know
I was
he
like,
told me too. I couldn't believe it. I was like, my
nope.
God. But
Nope.
yeah, I mean, but man, I had a run in with it. I had a run in with it here recently, here in like the last month, and it don't scare me because I know I can get a hold of some people, but I can kind of figure my way out through it, but. I just had a run. I mean, I had someone that's near me had a run in with it, and I'm going to tell it on my podcast one of these days. That'll be a podcast story. It won't be on live, but let's just say that somebody had something red and looked like a wolf visit somebody in the middle of the day.
Okay.
Like in the middle of town. And no one else saw it but them. Like I said, I don't want to get into much detail. That stuff kind of, when you talk about too much and you just kind of, but I'll tell you something kind of spooky, that's kind of been going on, with me, especially here at my house. So I have been seeing these shadows on the ground, and we have a cat and a dog. Well, the cat he's a black and white cat, and he does zoom around here from time to time. But we'll be sitting here, I'll be sitting here, doing, playing video games or watching some TV, and something will zoom by, and I'm looking, I was like, what the hell was that? And I look over, and the cat's laying on the couch. I said, wasn't him. Well, my girl, she was like, yeah, I wasn't going to tell you this, but I've been seeing that I've seen it a few times, or I've seen it kind of zooming by, and it only shows itself in the corner of your eye.
Right.
So we've been kind of having that going on a little bit. I find it's kind of interesting.
Well, the shadow stuff, I hadn't seen a shadow in the last little bit. I had a lady that I've been friends with on Twitter and in my Discord chat, goes by Admi Authority. She sent me a bunch of exorcism prayers, and I've been saying those for the past week. Prior to that, it was like, holy cow, what is going on in this house? But saying those prayers, and I said one earlier. Actually, I said two earlier, and then I said the one right before I really started this thing out. I saw in my dining room, which a couple of the ones I did for my phone and my iPad was in the dining room. And I did the one with the brick wall behind me. That was actually where I saw my last full-on shadow person. I just rolled in there, and there stood something that was misshapen and hunched over, and it sort of looked like it had a fucking hat on. And I couldn't tell you. I kind of wondered, was that one of those hat men? And I was like, well, it doesn't really matter. That's just a fucking name. It's a shadow something or another. And it was about 5 foot something and tall. So
yeah, I mean, my I told a story on your channel it was probably months ago, but about a car wreck that I had and the events that led up to that. And well, I didn't know. My brother, he kind of keeps everything to the vest. He don't really talk about this stuff, and I have to kind of pry it out of him sometimes. And he's like, "Man, we were sitting. My grandpa had just passed. This is, a couple of months ago he passed. But we were sitting there, and we were talking about old stories that my grandpa used to tell. And you know, kind of the things that he told, you know. And my brother goes, yeah, man. He's like, there's something off in that room in our parents' house. And I looked at him. I said, what do you mean something off? He said, I see things in there. He said, one time I felt something pull on the covers a little bit. Well, I had told that story, and I had kind of not issues, but just kind of I've seen things like that in that bedroom. Well, the guy that owned the house before us, I think he died in that bedroom. So he's been seeing it too. So I think it might just be something that's. I mean, we both can. I can kind of see things that happen before they happen. I have a lot of deja vu. I hate using the word empath because I'm not a woo woo person, I guess you could say, when it comes to that stuff. But I see things. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, anyway, that kind of reminds me of some stuff, but I'll touch on that. I just want to get Bass wants to know. Ask him about tall ones.
What do you mean, Bass? Tall ones? East of Chevco? What do you mean? That tall? That means tall. That means tall one. I mean, what do you? Are you talking about like Bigfoot, or are you just talking about just tall beings?
I don't know. He'll post it here in just a minute.
Yeah.
You've heard me talk about my near-death experience. So, the last 6 days, I have been writing. It just word vomit after word vomit. It's not one of those that I just pause. I pause long enough to say, "Well, I ain't ate yet today," and kind of deal. And I've had 2 occasions over the last 2 days of I'm writing about something, the subject matter, whatever the hell that subject matter is. And the one today was I was writing about soul connections, how I saw soul connections. And all of a sudden I get a text message. Are you thinking about me? I was like, yeah. Well, that's just crazy. But the day before, every subject matter I touched on the way I tell my stories is kind of disconjointed with, and writing about it is just as disconjointed. I could be talking about, I talked about picking up a bottle cap when I was a kid in one of my freaking memories of reviewing my life. And, that would pop up. I had like 3 occasions. I was like, well, something is watching me talk about this stuff. It can be just coincidental. Three different subjects, 3 different people say, hey, it's about the same damn thing. I'm like, okay, something's watching me. So that's about it. That's all I can say about that. Other than I have remembered so much. I've talked about having a conversation, discourse with Satan in that particular event, and I've always said that I can't remember anything about it other than he told me that when it was time for me to remember, I would start remembering about what we discussed. And the thing of it is, I remembered some of it, and I was shocked that I can't believe that fucker showed me that.
Man, do you ever? And I'm gonna ask you this. This is gonna kind of sound morbid, but I always like. I'm a question asker. Do you think it might be close?
What's expand upon that?
Do you think it might be close because you're remembering the things that he said? Do you think it's getting close? Because usually
it's getting close.
Like a countdown, like.
Oh, okay, like the end of days kind of deal.
Something maybe similar to that, or end of, I don't want to, like I said, I'm not trying to say like your death, but like it's getting closer for him to reveal things to you. Like it's getting closer to that time, is what I'm saying.
I always had a sense of deja vu. Yeah, no doubt about it. It has not been that much deja vu until lately, until I started really writing about this. And it was like, well, deja vu's happen all freaking time. here's what I wrote in the thing. I'll just get out and write, or I'll tell you what I wrote. Kind of surmise it. The conversation I had with Satan, devil, whatever you want to call that thing. It said, "I will infect everyone around you that I can possibly influence with me, to confuse you, to he wanted me to mess up and not be able to do what I've done. And the little things that I had seen made sense to me that has occurred in the last 6 years, or not 6 years, 4 years. 6 years, 6 years, 6 years. Let me just preference that. 6 years. Last 6 years. I can see where those fingers, that influence has come. Now I can tell you that I can't see past. I can finally see. I used to right before my near-death experience happened, where I had the car accident where I was drunk driving. I hope God bless me that I was the only one that really got really hurt. Banged up a car, another car and stuff. But I saw right there at that intersection, I kept getting flashes of this is where something's going to happen to me right here. Starting to write this thing, I now know I'm going to die writing this book. I know it's going to take me a long time, and don't get me wrong, this is not going to be one of those. I will probably be releasing bits and pieces of it because I can see me having 300 pages of text within a few months, as much as I'm writing right now. I don't know how long that's going to take to edit to a consumable level, but I can see just writing 5-6 pages a day, if not more.
Wow.
But,
wow.
It's going to take me a long time to get this out. I'm not saying that I'm going to wind up being dead in the next 6 months, a year. Who knows? I might. I can't tell you. God ain't revealed that to me, but I saw myself writing on my final day. So,
man, that's pretty heavy. That's some heavy stuff that you're saying.
Well,
Wow.
well, the thing of it is I have mentioned how I view time. The time is always in fast forward. Like the last Wednesday show was just a second ago to me. I know a lot of shit's happened since then. Yeah, a lot of fucking shit's happened since then. But I look at it and it's like, oh, it's a second, and I have a strange sensation that it's speeding up, and I'm like, well, if I don't do this, and I honestly, I've said I'm supposed to be here for 8 people. I know 6 of them right now.
Wow.
I know 6 of those 8 people. I definitely know I know 6 of them. 6 out of those 8 people. So the other 2, I'm probably writing this book for. Now, will this book affect anybody else? Maybe, I don't know. But I'm definitely writing this book for those 2 people that I come back to do something with, intervene or whatever. But yeah, that's strange. I know it could probably be one of those self-fulfilling prophecies that the crazy mind would come up with. But I've like, well, if it was that crazy, how the hell did I come up with? I'm still writing about it, and I ain't slowed down. If it's all fiction, how come I'm just writing about it like it just come out of me, like I just lived it?
Especially with the detail
strange.
that you've said about the story. It's, and that's one thing too, and this is one thing too that when I get stories for people that when I talk to, like I talked to a game ranger today, and he came in and I was just kind of asked him questions. He didn't really have anything, like on this paranormal side, but like just talking to him, it's all about asking the question, and that's the reason why James, I was asking him the question. Yeah. The questions I was asking him, because there's little fine things that where someone says something, you got to kind of go back. But I've heard you tell your near death, on multiple shows, or you've made mention of certain details, and it's hard to come up with those types of details, and especially with the level of depth that I've heard, those details. But That's crazy.
Well,
That's crazy, man.
if you remember the opal part of the thing, part of my near death experience, I don't know if you remember that one. The big, large opal that's standing there, and that alien thing's sitting in front of it or floating in front of it.
I remember the
I-
alien thing. I remember the alien thing.
Okay, it's floating in front of this opal, this passage, this window. I've mentioned it a few times, and I never really had any great detail of it. And it's kind of one of those little glossed over. I can see it in my mind deal, but as soon as I started writing about it, I was like, I know more about this damn thing than I really thought anything about. And I've got a few friends that I've kind of said, hey, would you like to see what I've been doing today? Yeah, sure. And one of them is into physics rather heavily. And she comes back and says, I believe you, she said, I believe you might be onto something because other people have talked about this. I'm like, okay, I can't really get into it because it's just one of those things that, well, I'm not a physicist. I don't play one on TV, or I didn't go to Hilton. Oh hell, what I was trying to make a joke there. What is that? What's that commercial where they stay the night at a Hilton and they wake up and they're brain surgeon the next day? Is that the one?
Is it? What is it?
I'm not-
No. Yeah, where
If
it's
you know
like
what I'm talking about,
they got like a good night's sleep, and they became
Yeah,
smarter or
got a good
something.
night's sleep and they can do everything the next day. No, but I stayed at Rent or whatever place. No, I hadn't done that. But yeah, the level of detail I'm getting out of this stuff it's mind-boggling. It's like, how the hell did I not say this? Maybe it's just me. Instead of having to think about and say, well, I'm on a podcast or a radio show or whatever, talking about it. I think I'm going into maybe a deeper trance, writing about it. Perhaps, I don't know. That would explain why people are saying, talking to me about this shit I'm writing about, or just randomly. I was like, well, why the hell you? I just wrote about that. Why the hell you sending me text messages or whatever about that? But crazy as crazy does. But I plan on keeping on doing it.
Yeah. Not to change the subject here, but I saw Bass said earlier in the chat. I kind of kept it here. So he's talking about there's I wouldn't call it a spirit, maybe an entity. I don't know what it's called, but it's a very, very tall man, like treetop tall, like taller than treetops. I've heard a few stories. I actually have a picture. I'll have to find it. I'll have to find it and maybe send it to you, Sean. But you can see it's an outline of a man above this treetop, because they were where they were at. They were kind of on a hill, but that there was a hill bigger. But the sunset was hit just right, and you could see this one figure of a man. Like you could see it going down into the trees, and you can't see its arms either because it's only got long arms. But you can see the outline of the head, and it doesn't look like a tree. But I'll have to ask my cousin on that. She had it, and my dad had it at one point, but I'll have to send that to you. Another story is, it was kind of it's almost like a what do they call that? What's those things where like parents would tell kids not to like do something after dark? It's like, what is that called? Not a not a fable, but like a warning type story.
Oh yeah. It was like my grandparents and my dad would say, "Hey, Sean, get in before dusk, or the booger go and come get you, or whatever."
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Well, there was a guy. Now, my cousin said this happened to him. I'm not sure because I've heard this story kind of similar to before. Excuse me. And so he was walking through this park one night. It was real late. And he had kind of leaned against a tree where the tree started moving. The whole, like with the roots and all. Well, he come to find he wasn't leaning on a tree. He was leaning on this tall man. Now, I've heard different people tell something variant story to this from different not the same, like, it wasn't the same circles. It was just different people. Now, I'm not sure if people are just sleeping on trees and I don't know, but I kind of, I've heard that story multiple times of someone falling asleep and the tree moves and it's not actually an actual tree. It's a foot. And the foot is like the size of, the foot alone is like the size of a F1, like a Ford F-150. Big foot.
Wow.
Like huge foot.
Okay.
So that's the vast answer to your question. Those are the two stories I've heard. Now there's probably more. I haven't really talked to a lot of my kinfolk here lately. I've just been so busy with work, but I'll have to maybe ask that.
What have you heard that the government come in and confiscated all these giant skeletons and stuff? What have you heard they did with that?
I heard they threw them in the ocean.
Okay, that's
what I've heard. That's what I've heard. I've also heard, I'm into the giants. I enjoy those stories. But to me, I just have a hard time with. I mean, it's so crazy. I'm so kind of like, I'm not negative, but I'm just kind of weary of certain stories. Like, I guess maybe it's because I just have I'm always a devil's advocate on stuff. But I sometimes have a hard time believing a lot of the giant stories that I hear. The Kandahar story, that one's famous. I've heard that one a million times, and I've heard, you had somebody on that, that heard the actual stories.
Yeah, that was actually Chase's mom. I forgot what her name is. Chase the trucker. His mother was actually somebody that was stationed over there. I think she was a Black Hawk mechanic. If I remember correctly.
That's correct. Yes, but no, with the giants, you hear swamp stories. I've heard Seminoles tell stories of this is like old days type stuff. Most of the stuff I hear is Sasquatch. Like, this is a story that my tribal town where I come from on my creek side. They tell a story, back in the old days, they used to grease themselves up with bear fat, like black bear fat or, pig fat or whatever they could find that had a lot of fat on it. And they would rub that grease on them. Choctaws used to do it. And when the Choctaws played the Creeks, they would practice it and they'd go wrestle with the Sasquatch. It's like a juvenile Sasquatch to get ready for stickball games back in the old days. I've heard that. I'm sorry?
I said, yeah, that's where they use that fat so they, couldn't be tackled or held or whatever. They just slip off the other player. Yeah.
And they practice with those Sasquatch, and this is one thing too, and I'll say this is going to be this is maybe kind of spicy, but I equate big Sasquatch to the tribes in the way that. So the tribe's medicine isn't as strong as it used to be back in the old days. Now, with that being said, I equate the similar type. I 100% believe this is kind of spicy that Sasquatch knows how to do knows medicine, like old medicine, like disappearing, turning into stumps.
Yep.
I don't think the medicine is as strong because as generations die, either you pick it up or you don't. And I think the way people are seeing, people say, oh, it's like he just disappeared or just camouflaged. Maybe that's a Sasquatch that knew some things because there's still Indians right here that know things, and I know a guy that knows things. That might be what it is. Because back in the old day, back in the Creeks used to look at Sasquatch, Creek, Seminole, Cherokee. They used to look at Sasquatch as a whole tribe, and they used weapons. I've heard stories of that too.
So, do you remember that I had a fellow on here a couple of shows? It's been probably about 6 months ago, 7 months ago, maybe 8. He talked about this talisman made out of flesh that moved. It had been dead. And apparently the shaman or whoever this witch was died, and their family come in and did what they usually do, go and see what's in their house and divvy up or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
close it down the property. They found this wrapped up piece of dead flesh, this talisman, and laid it out on the bed and it started moving.
Man, that is some old medicine. I mean, or magic.
From what I was told, it was a piece of a giant that the tribal members killed.
Yeah. I would
Shaman.
not be that doesn't I'm not doubted by that at all. Like, I don't doubt that at all.
But yeah, that kind of wigged me out. As soon as I heard that out, I went to Vault and I said, "Have you ever heard any shit like this before?" So I'd have to talk to Lakea, see if she's still in chat. She probably remembers me saying something about that, and then Vault went and said, "Hey, do you remember anything like this or know anything about that?" But yeah, that's some old, I don't want anything to do with.
Yeah, that's some stuff. That's some stuff that if I see that, I'm like, all right, I'll see y'all later.
That's enough of that stuff.
Y'all have a good day. Enjoy your evening. I am gone. Like,
yeah, you got to go drink. I'm gonna go drink a milkshake beer. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I'll be back. Man, that's what's so crazy about that, and like I'm so like I don't get spooked out of that stuff. I'm kind of used to it, but like that's one thing about all that stuff, like the magic and whatnot. Like, there's people that practice that stuff, and I just kind of like, hey man, hey, I believe you. I don't care to know, but I believe you. Like they could be or they could not be, but that if you want to know what really spooks me is that stuff. Like that, I get kind of not wiggy, but just kind of like, it kind of spooks me a little bit.
Right. I just like me. If anything is they're talking magic and black magic or anything has to do with Ouija boards, which I know quite a number of people that actually make their own Ouija boards, and they can contact these whatever they think that is. I've never got this. No offense to anybody out there that's in metaphysics and does necromancy or anything like that. I just can't understand how you can discern something that has obviously been in existence far longer than you.
And by the way, this is no indictment on me. Hey, I fully support you. Don't take any of my hair. Don't do none of that stuff. I'm good. We're good. I promise you. If you do that stuff, we're like kosher. We're like the greatest it's ever been. I want no parts of it.
I want no parts of it. I'll talk to folks that are in metaphysics and stuff, and fascinated with it, but I still haven't got that. I just haven't got that satisfactory answer that a human cannot be deceived by a demon. I can't see that, especially when it's a child ghost. I think we discussed children ghost earlier today. I got
some kid ghosts. I got some kid ghost stories, man. Yeah, like no. Sorry, go ahead. Continue what you're saying.
Well, anyway, I have a big problem because of the innocence factor of a child returning. Now, I don't have a problem if God says okay to a grieving parent or a loved one or a brother or sister, allowing a child to visit that family member, and from that point of view, if God allows it, I don't have a freaking problem with it. But to show up and this thing causes a lot of chaos, like the Omen or some shit like that. No.
Damien, get the hell out of here. Yeah. Damien, get out of here.
Nope.
No, Damien.
That just can't do that. Can't do that. That's
no Damien. Yeah, and that's one thing. I heard like back when I was in high school, we had a teacher who, he was a hardcore Christian, didn't believe in any of the supernatural stuff, and he worked in this building that had a child ghost in it, and the stories had been told for years and years and years, and we had my senior class, went and kind of did a little tour, and they threw a ball down this dark hallway that you can't even see the other end of the hallway. It's so dark in there with no windows in the hall. and the ball rolled right back, and I'm just like, nah, good. But this guy, like I said, he's hardcore preacher, like not even like phased by any of it. Like he's like, I don't believe it's only angels and demons and biblical text and all that stuff. And I'm sitting there, he's tutoring me. He's a math teacher. I think he's geography. I think I'm a sophomore, junior, and we're sitting there tutoring. The door's open. I see a little kid run by, and I look at him. I'm like, and he looks at me, and he just kind of walks over and closes the door. And I looked at him. I'm like, you didn't see that little kid just run by the door?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, huh? What are you talking about? Well, come to find out, that little kid was his student back when he was a young teacher. And something had happened to that child. Abuse, or I don't recall the story. He didn't really go into detail about it. He just said, he just kind of told it. He told a teacher, that all the new teachers that moved in there, he would just tell them, hey, there's some stuff, weird, whatever. But yeah, it was a student that he taught back when he was a young teacher. And the kid had died, and the kid loved him so much that the kid just never let go. And I think he might have had a momentum from the kid. That could be why the ghost is there. But yeah, I saw that. I literally sat there, and there was a little kid. It was just a little shadow. You could see it, and you could see like the little figure just run fast by. And I was just like, what in the hell?
Man, I used to before I ran sleep labs for a living as a regional manager. I actually was doing the sleep studies, and I was in this old converted, renovated old ICU unit in this old hospital, and they changed it into a neurodiagnostic / sleep lab. And I had on 3 occasions over a course of 5 years, 3 separate people talk to me, explain to me, give me in great detail of a ghost sitting in the same chair in the same corner. And I'm like, oh my God. And there was this, I'll go ahead and use the name because it's a ghost. I never knew the dude while he was living. I just heard other people talking about it. I'll just say there was a ghost named Carson in that particular unit. And I think it just showed up, and I actually had one girl that I did a sleep study on. She was in her early 20s, scream out in the middle of like 2 a.m. in the morning when everything's calm, scared the living crap out of me at 2 a.m. Sean! And I'm like, holy shit. Jump out of my skin. And walk in and said, you all right? I said, yeah, I thought you was sitting in the corner.
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah.
No.
And but this is the thing. She said this thing jumped out of that chair and jumped on top of her bed and went boom, 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 boom. And that's where she screamed Sean from.
No. That's
and
man, that's
I
crazy.
actually but I actually saw something. I went back after the fact, pulled that tape for that night, and I kept the tape. I'm pretty sure it's probably been decommissioned a long time since I've been in there. But I saw a light come out of that corner and go across that bed.
Nah, I'm gonna have to put my 2 weeks in. I don't have time for this. Yeah, I'm good.
I tell you, the thing of it is hospitals have such negative energy in it. I know there's a lot of good energy with the births and healings and stuff like that, but there's so much negative energy in that place. What creeped me out was ER. If part of ER was shut down for whatever, it had a slow whatever, and they kind of closed part of the ER down, and you go back in there, that creeped the living shit out of me.
I had my dad. This kind of movement, so they moved out to Arizona back when he was young. He was like young. He was like a little dude, and I guess the family he was staying with had lived in an old funeral home, like a used to be funeral home. Where they like a morgue, I guess you could say, or where they kept dead bodies, to get them ready. And he was talking about how his, I think it was his dad or maybe our relative that lived out there, but every night if they feel hands on their ankles or tickling them on their feet, and and or the covers will get pulled off. Like, it would be a dead asleep and the covers would get pulled off. And I'm like, dude,
Oh,
no.
man.
I'm like, nah, Dad.
I've
I'm
had
like, no.
I've had stuff pulled off walls and tossed and thrown in this house, and been poked and scratched myself and pushed in this house. But other than that, I get kind of ticked off that, hey, you're invading my privacy. Get the hell out and start rebuking. But I think back when my dad, when I was a little kid, about 5 years old. Hey, Chris, if you want to tell that hospital story, call that number 931-994-6917. I'd love to hear it. I'm totally into weird hospital stories. But I remember my dad, we lived in this trailer court, which you probably heard this before. I'll just, for the folks that haven't heard it, I was like 5 or 6 years old, and Dad parked after we moved out of this trailer court thing, and it was totally fucking haunted as hell. Said that he saw a man walk through the trailer, looked in each one of the kids' rooms, and come into the bedroom. And I remember this because after we moved out of the trailer court, he pulled into a grocery parking lot, and I thought he was going to get out to get milk and bread or whatever. He parked it, turned around with my late brother, my sister, and myself in the back seat, and said, "I wasn't going to tell you this until after we got left that place." And he told us about that story, and I was about ready to say, "I'm going to choke the little shit out of you, buddy."
Man.
He told me that I would wake up and see these things walking down the hallway, and I'd yell out, "Mom, Dad, I see these things." And Dad would say, "Nothing's in here going to bother you. Go back to sleep."
Dude, hey, now James brought up a great throwback episode that you had, a live stream. The guy that called in that one time, I don't think I've ever seen him back in chat or called in.
Oh, that guy that had the
and I called
whatever.
in, I had to call in and ask him questions. Man, that was a great story. That was a great story. For those, I guess I'll just kind of give a rundown. The guy's dad had a knock at his door, but he didn't answer. And then he calls his dad, right? And then his dad died. And then the guy, or hold on a second, I'm sorry. The guy sees a cloaked figure outside his house as he's coming home one night. Well, he goes in the house, and the thing comes up to him, rushes up to him, and he doesn't, like, it just kind of blows by him. Well, then he goes inside. His dad calls, or he calls his dad, and the guy his dad says, "Oh yeah, hold on, there's a knock at the door." Well, his dad allegedly didn't answer it. But then he heard trumpets in the house. It was like a weird, sequence of kind of weird stuff. And then his dad died like a couple days later, a week later. That was a crazy story, and I believed it because what he described to me was he was Choctaw, and what he described to me was exactly what a ravenmocker looks like. Which a ravenmocker is a ancient type medicine. That's what we Cherokees call it. But man, James, that's a great throwback.
Oh yeah, there was. Oh, Michelle says when my mother was dying in the hospital, she was talking to my husband as though he was my dad, who was already passed. I truly believe he was seeing my dad. I have, without doubt, seen dozens of people. As a respiratory therapist, I had the blessing of being there as people passed. And I had seen so many people talk to people that were not there in the room, and they were having conversations, and it was like, well, it was comforting them. So I assumed that whoever their loved ones was coming back to welcome them back. Now, that being said, my late brother, my sister moved in. She took off work, and it was quick work actually, and took care of him in his final days. And the night before he passed, she said that I would assume he probably through a blood clot or some part of the cancer that was eating him up, got lodged into his lungs, and he had an embolus. And he was breathing so hard at the end of that. But he raised up in bed, and Robin said that he was waving at the ceiling saying, "Oh, hi. And he said, could not believe that he could talk. But he looked like he was just having a good old time. seeing people that he hadn't seen in a while.
Yeah, when my great grandma passed, this is probably over 12 years ago. When she was about to pass on, they said one night she had or might have been leading up to it, and one night she said that she said she felt like she was awake, and that she saw her husband, which is my great grandfather, who I'm named after. We're a legacy, like we're a lineage type thing. I'm the fourth of our family of that name, and she said, yeah, he was calling me out to the stomp grounds, telling me this is where I belong, and called him out there, and I guess she went to go find him, and I guess they had to go look for her, because she went and tried to find him out in the stomp grounds. I was like, man, that's wild.
Oh man, that just creeps me out, because I don't know. It lends I know from my near-death experience that we carry on, and the people that we loved here are there, without doubt. It's just them reaching back out, and I guess it's comforting knowing that if they love you and took part of you with them in that love, and they come back and finally say, hey, the final goodbye or whatever, or something to comfort them. I guess that would, I could see that, but it's still kind of creepy to talk about it.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of going back to like the seeing the family member. I had a friend in high school and college. Every night her house was weird anyway. It was kind of freaky. Like it was on some Indian land, and they had to build this place. They had to excavate some bodies, I guess, allegedly is what we were told, was what her family was told, and some Native American bodies. And she said that, man, she's like, yeah, about every other night, my grandpa, I could feel like I'd be laying in bed and I could feel someone sitting at the edge of the bed. Like, and it would almost be touching my ankle or my foot, but not quite, just kind of, it was near, like it was like within a centimeter. And
Yep.
she was, go on, sorry.
Got a caller. Hey, caller, you're on the line. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hey, this is Chicken Whisperer.
Hey, buddy, it's been a while. It's been a hot minute since I talked to you, buddy.
Yeah, it's been a little while there. Is your program, does it have a subject, or is it open line?
When's the last daggum time I said open lines and I had a subject other than this whatever randomly come on? Man, you can talk about anything you want to.
Well, I just want to let your listeners know that Jeffrey Nadalmi, on his channel, he's in with the Dark Waters family.
Yep.
He's really getting down with them conspiracy theories. He's saying there's a lot of stuff that I used to say on Facebook. I was kind of a patriotic preacher on there in the past. And I don't know if you listened to him or not lately, but he's telling a lot of good stuff that I truly believe in.
Well, Jeff is a good guy. I've listened to him, not as much as a lot of of his fans have, but what he does a lot of research, and he tells the story straight as he can. So, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he does. He's hit on a lot of topics that years ago that I've researched and I went down the rabbit hole with. But, he needs to be careful. That stuff will yank your foundation and depress you. And you have to step back and kind of chew on it a little bit, for a while, because this world that we came up in thinking it was pretty birdies and butterflies, it ain't so. It's a lot of bad stuff going on and a lot of bad people behind it, and all, and I put in the subject line in the comments some other stuff he could research. I don't know if he's going to check it out or not, though.
Yep.
There's all kinds of stuff, 13 satanic families.
That's the 13
really
bloodlines.
The shadow government and the Illuminati. and how there's a series of books out on Barron Trump from the late 1800s, early 1900s, how he was teleported into the future and became the last president. And he even looks like Barron Trump in them books. I mean, how could that be? You know, that came out like that, you know, and how the powers that be.
Well, he's getting
It's
that.
possible, I guess. Yeah, he's getting there. These 13 satanic families, I believe, are real. Watch something will bust in my bedroom.
I know, right? I was going to say, Sean, you watch out, man.
Yeah, so actually, I joked with DW and a couple other people. I said, I'm going to receive a phone call, and before I can utter anything out about it on air, I will get a Mr. Graham, we need to talk to you about something. And it'll be somebody in a black suit or whatever. And then I'll
someone
go.
with no
Is that
eyebrows.
Connor I hear in the background?
Do what?
Is that Connor that I hear in the background? Who's you guess?
Oh, that's One Man Band. He just popped in with me. That's One Man Band.
Oh, hey man, how you doing? I tried to look you up on YouTube, and seems like there's 2 or 3 one man bands.
Yeah, I'm not really on YouTube. All my stuff, I'm on Spotify, iTunes. That's a lot of where my stuff is. I'm not a YouTube guy. I kind of have just a podcast. Like I said, Spotify, iTunes, Podbean. You can find me just about anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay.
There may be copies over here on YouTube, but there's only One Man Band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the whole reason behind my name is the whole reason behind my name is I'm a part of different. You know, I have different like backgrounds with tribes, and you know, there's different bands of tribes, and I'm my own band, man. That's what it is.
Well, there was a guy on YouTube that he was a one-man band, but I ain't found him lately. But I'm talking about he would redo songs, and he would do the singing, the guitar playing, the drum playing, and it would show him in sections throughout the whole video where he does all that and then puts it together. And, man, it's a trip. He does a good job. He's getting kind of old like I am, though.
Yeah. You know, that's one thing. This is one thing too that I find interesting about, you know, those bloodlines and stuff like that. And I'm not trying to get a knock at the door either, but that stuff I'm so intrigued by it because I can't quite wrap my mind around it. When I can't do that, I have a hard time believing it. But it's interesting. I'll say that it's very, very interesting.
Wow. Yeah, the whole scenario about is there an upper echelon of shadow government or something? You know, families are in control of the governments of the world. You can look and see that something is coordinating all this bullshit that's going on now with China and Russia. You know, kind of sitting there pillow farting around, and then you kind of wonder, okay, let's go Brandon. Obviously he's a puppet. It'd be hard. You'd be hard pressed to argue with me that he's not a puppet. You know.
I mean, you look
all
at
kinds of.
You know.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, you know, they tell us ahead of time. The powers that be, they tell us ahead of time what they're going to do through sci-fi movies years in advance, from what I heard, and they count us as warned. Even though they, was saying it was fiction, they count us as warned.
I think Sean, I think me and you talked about that the last time I was on. We talked about, how movies are kind of letting you know what's going on before they're going on.
Right. I think they just like to brag and say, well, let's put this out, see how they like it, and if they buy into it or whatever. Yeah. I have no doubt about that. It's just,
it's alien technology, that's in our everyday stuff, especially the military, but, it says in the Bible, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. And, the book of Enoch talks about the fallen angels, how they came down here and taught us technology and stuff. And I think that's what the aliens are, along with the Nephilim, which are the demons. But I think a lot of this, is fallen angel technology, and I think it came into play sometime in the 30s, when governments actually made a deal with them for technology. I don't know what that deal was, but I know that we started getting Social Security numbers. It's kind of like we're stocked. As far as the country goes, we're stocked now because we got numbers and everything. And I don't know if the country actually claims ownership of us or not, but it wouldn't surprise me none.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, that's in that information is in the Zeitgeist movie, like back in, I think it's back in 08, I think is when it was made, maybe 07. But that Zeitgeist movie that if you can find it on BitChute. But yeah, that's definitely interesting with those numbers.
Oh yeah, and then you kind of wonder, the Fort Knox, does it even have an ounce of gold in it? Is it just a well guarded, empty parking lot inside?
No, Sean, it's crypto. No,
It's crypto. Yeah, it's probably. Yeah.
Somebody's saying cryptocurrency is worth more than gold now.
I should have back when what was that first cryptocurrency that was out? I forgot what the hell it was. When I first heard of it, if I would have invested everything I could get my hands on, I would be a multimillionaire now.
Mercy.
Yeah, I heard about that. Jesus. 10, 15 years ago, easy, when this cryptocurrency came out, whatever, a Bitcoin or whatever it is. I heard about that. Yeah, Bitcoin, Rothian.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. Bitcoin, I heard about that about 15 years ago. And at that time, a buddy of mine and I were talking about it, and we had already heard stories of people that, vested, maxed out their credit cards and just paid off the credit card up until about the 5th year into it, and they cashed out their Bitcoin, and they just retired. That was it. And that was back then. If I would have went in and just spent like $300-400 or whatever, who the hell knows how rich I would be right now. But of course, me being a dumbass saying, no, I got to have this money for something else. Yeah.
Yeah, we could have retired from the poll, man.
I guess y'all
that money.
Oh yeah.
I guess y'all probably heard of the MK Ultra project too.
Yeah. What about it?
Yeah, well, some of your listeners might not have paid any attention to it or know anything about it, it's how they take babies, and they torture them. They know how much to torture them, without killing them. It splits their personalities, and they have different personalities, and they even have they put a switch in, so to speak, in their mind, where if you try to deprogram them, they could have a heart attack or something, and it's caused a lot of people to be going around as sleepers, where they live an everyday life and they're good people and everything. But when they hear a certain word, like a password, for what they really supposed to do, they do it. Like maybe some of the school shooters.
Oh, like those. Yeah, you got to be careful with that kind of stuff, that kind of talk on here. You could probably get away with that over on BitChute or something like that. But yeah, I agree with you. You never know what kind of AI bot will be triggered by saying certain things, especially if you.
Well, if when it comes to kind of getting away from that, but with the MK Ultra stuff, if you guys have heard a book by Tom O'Neill, he wrote a book about Manson and how Manson's connected to what is it? Jack Ruby? Was it Jack Ruby that shot Oswald?
Yeah, Jack Ruby, and then he got didn't he die shortly after that?
Yeah, and he had done interviews, and he had with security, like prison guards, jail guards, all these people, and it's all this one doctor who was a CIA guy back when they were doing that program, and it's all connected to Manson, Jack Ruby, Oswald, all these people that he's connected to throughout the years. It's a pretty interesting book, I thought it was pretty. I can't think of the name of it, but it's by Tom O'Neill. Shouldn't be hard to find.
Oh, I've delved into that JFK stuff. I couldn't tell you how many times. I actually loved arguing with a professor. I knew a professor back in the day, and that was her big thing. And I, kind of slid over. I said, I think it was because he was messing with the gold standard and wanted to switch the country back to the gold standard, and then pissed off a bunch of people, and that's why he got axed. And she's like, nope. That ain't it. That's the way, She's like, you're a conspiracy theorist. I was like, yeah, that's the reason why I'm arguing with you.
Well, did you, Oliver
You know
Stone?
about-
Oliver Stone came out with another documentary just here in 2021 about it on Showtime. If you guys hadn't seen that, man, that's pretty good. That's a pretty
Oliver
good
Stone?
documentary. It was on Showtime. It may be on something else now, but it's pretty good.
You know, Vault done a good show on that, the JFK assassination. I done got tongue tied again, but you know what I'm talking about. He done a show on it. I really enjoyed that.
Yep. Yeah, he's been doing some alternative stuff here lately. That Red Feather review, which I kind of copied and did a little bit of that at the first of the show, kind of fill her in. Yeah, I have no problems with what he's doing over there. He's giving out entertainment. Now, he got a lot of flack over getting away from DNA science and stuff with Dogman X Beast. Excuse me. That's the new term that Vault's come up with for Dogman X Beast. But he got a lot of flack in his chat comments about. We need to get all these people off the show and start talking about the science and DNA and all that stuff. And I was like, well, doesn't that cost $4,000 to get one DNA test? Who the hell's going to pay for that shit?
Were you talking to me?
Anybody want to answer? Anybody?
Sorry, that was funny.
I was just pulling my truck up. I couldn't hear you over my engine. I had to kind of pull up to do my job here where the boss man's leaving and shutting the gate, and I wanted to be kind of right in the area while he's doing it. Okay, I cut my truck off now.
All right.
No, yeah, I haven't really went into the Red Feather review. I was kind of curious on that.
All that is we get some evidence, and it's not that we're trying to say, well, this is the fake or whatever. It's just our opinion, and our opinion means what, kind of stuff. We're not experts. You can't say you're an expert in.
So that's what he meant. That's what he meant by that. I'm sorry. Okay, that makes sense now. I was wondering. I was like, because the times that I jumped on, I was like, man, what is this called? Like, what? Like, I was kind of, I guess I just.
Yeah, it's just a review of paranormal, Dogman, cryptid, whatever, UFO.
I didn't understand the Red Feather part of that. I guess is what I.
Yeah, that comes across with his little thing with the white feather with his dad and stuff.
Oh, okay.
You know the story behind that, so I won't go in there.
But Vault, not Vault, Sean. Geez, we were just talking about Vault. Sean, I appreciate you on the show or having me on the show, man. It's always good talking with you. I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna get out of here, but I'm gonna tell one story. And I'm gone. I'm gonna hang up like Thaddeus Cray.
All right, go ahead.
So I had a friend back in high school and college. She would always tell me, says, yeah, my grandfather would always, sit at the edge of the bed. And I asked her, I said, what do you mean? She said, like, he would just sit there and I just felt his presence. And I just had such a loving, feeling. And I'm just like, I don't know about that. That's kind of weird. So one day, I had stayed over there. I was sitting on the couch and I was, got up and used the bathroom. And I had thought I heard somebody talking to somebody in her little brother's room. And I'm like, what's going on? So I went and opened the door and looked in, and he's in the closet, facing the closet, talking to somebody, having a full conversation with someone in the closet. And I'm like, hey, go to bed. What are you doing? And he just was solely locked in on whatever that was in the closet. So I told her this, and she's like, no, Well, then weird things started happening, like things were moving, but this whole time she was entertaining this thing, and I guess made it stronger. I guess is what I'm assuming. And her brother ended up kind of getting a hold of it, and he was talking to it in the closet and just weird stuff. But I'm gonna take that off there, Sean. Appreciate you, man.
All right. Take care, brother. Appreciate you being on here.
Yes,
As
sir.
usual, keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard, brother.
Yeah, man, have a good one.
Yeah, he just took off. Well, Chicken Whisperer, you at work right now?
Yes, sir.
Well, Lord have mercy. I've been on this for, well, shit, 3 hours and 10 minutes. Does it feel like 3 hours and 10 minutes for the folks that's been here for that amount of time? Red, Keith, Jennifer, Jennifer chimed in about halfway through, I think. Stimulate. Hey, buddy, ain't seen you in a while. Lucas, what's up, brother? But Chicken Whisperer, I think I'm gonna take off for the night and just say the closing prayer and stuff. But I appreciate you kind of popping on and sharing what little bit you did share.
Well, I appreciate you letting me.
All right, man. Any other time, just call in. This Friday, I'm going to have Danielle Borzan on my Southern Supernatural. She has DNA proof that she is linked directly to famous Dracula, Count Dracula. So
Wow.
that's going to be interesting to go through and let her put that out. And she'll probably do some tarot card readings and some other stuff. She's into metaphysics. I've had her on before. She's into Bigfoot research. Had her on my show before talking about Bigfoot research and metaphysics. Interesting lady for sure. I love her accent. It's just having her pronounce my last name instead of saying Graham. I heard her 2 days ago on live stream, and she said, Sean Graham. I'm like, okay. Oh, well, it is what it is. But appreciate you, brother. You take care, and I'll talk at you later, okay?
Okay, you too. Thank you.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Okay, folks. Oh, we got a bot. We got a bot. Where the hell? Let me catch that bot. I don't like bots. Bots and those old hot pockets. I do not like those hot pockets. Hot pockets can kiss my ass. That's all I can tell you. Psalm 19:1. Firmament declares handwork of God. Paraphrased. Yep. True. Absolutely. Oh, wait a minute. I think LeKay and I both jumped on that bot at the same time. All right. Well, go over to the Vault Nightmares 2.0. I don't know if he's going on live tonight, but I did talk to him earlier. He twisted his ankle doing some stuff yesterday, I believe. I hope is Vault doing all right there, LeKay, with his ankle kind of deal. But looks like we got a bunch of people talking about JFK assassinations in there. That was one was half asleep. Oops. That's all right, LeKay. I appreciate you sitting there trying to wave your magic wrench there and getting rid of that bot. That's all right. No big deal. But wow, this Friday, join me at about 8 p.m. Central. Same time, same time, same bat time, same bat channel. My Southern Supernatural co-host and myself, Tina Bison, we're going to have Danielle Borzan on the show. We'll be discussing everything that has to do with Dracula and her being related to that fellow, and we'll go from there. We'll never say I didn't warn you that it's coming. It's been out there for 2 weeks on scheduled. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Southern Supernatural, I have actually we've booked out till 1st April, something like that, with guests. But it's just one of those things. You never know what you're going to get when you come on my freaking show. It turned out we had a little red feather review, and then somebody called in, and then I had 2 people call in. Wow. Thanks, Jack, for calling in and telling your 6-foot owl story. Yeah, I know you said it before, but I appreciate you. Thanks to One Man Band and the Chicken Whisperer. Wow. So anyway, let me pop up a quick prayer here. Let me get a good one here. something that, yeah, here we go. Let's get this thing up. I'll reopen this one. What is going on with my mouse? It's not wanting it to do anything. Let me move over here on this. Ah, yeah, there we go. Okay, well, anyway, here we go. I humbly ask our Lord Jesus Christ and our Heavenly Mother, Mary, that if it be in accordance with her holy will, that all curses, evil, demonic involvement, and or attacks being sent against me or my listeners or anyone in my family, the loved ones I have, be sent back to them whence it came. Lord Jesus Christ, in thy love and mercy, establish a perimeter of protection around all of us and myself, all our loved ones, and those that pray for us and their loved ones. May the holy angels guard us and all our possessions, establishing a perimeter of protection around all of us, rendering us immune from any kind of demonic influence. I ask that no demonic bondage, door, demonic entity, portal, astral projection, or disembodied spirit may enter this space of 100 yards in all directions against us, in front of us. I ask that any demons within that vicinity or any that should try to enter here be rendered deaf, dumb, and blind, that thou would strip them of all weapons, armor, power, illusions, and authority, that thou would bind, rebuke, and disable them from communicating or interacting with each other in any way. Remove them, sending them directly to the foot of thy cross, Jesus, Son of the Most High. I ask this in thy glorious name and most holy name. Amen. All right, folks, I appreciate every one of you. For those that are in need of prayers, please, say a prayer or send out a good vibes, excellent vibes, or whatever, however you want to say it. But God bless each and every one of you. God bless America. Lord knows we need it. But yeah, thanks for joining in on this this craziness that I call chasing the truth. Look forward to sharing a little bit. I'm going to be posting a little bit more than I usually do on an average occasion to talk to you about how my book and writing my book about my near-death experience is going along. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Let's see. What is this? A little bit. Please say a prayer for a little bit. We found a lump on the base of her head. Prayers can, say a little prayer for a little bit. Dear God, please bless a little bit and her mama, Red, and keep them safe. Send your angels of mercy and healing to her and her family. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. So please, dear God, watch after them. Watch after anyone that needs them. Needs the prayers. So it's crazy. This stuff has been said to me over the last few weeks and months. But Lord have mercy. Please, dear God, bless those that need it. Keep them safe and sound. And that's about it, folks. Join me Friday. I may be on tomorrow night. I don't know. It just depends. But I'll be definitely writing a lot of freaking stuff. Like I said before, I believe I'll probably be writing as I pass away. So, Bonita, thanks. I appreciate it. Let's see. Keith, Crystal. Let's see. Monica, please just say a prayer for me. Thank you, Sean. Monica, I will definitely say one. Wow, why not? Dear God, please bless Monica. Keep her safe and sound. And then if you know her as much as anybody else, or even more than she does, send your angels to her to help her out in whatever she does need. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. There you go. Well, holy cow. I hope that at least somebody like this show somewhere. Like, share, and subscribe. Or if you didn't like it, hit those thumbs down. It's up to you. You are in charge with those thumbs. Or just don't mess with them at all. But Lord have mercy. We'll see you Friday, if not tomorrow. If I do, get a wild hair and want to do a quick live stream on my phone or whatever, we'll see. But yeah, there you go. Monica, I appreciate you. And if you want me to say a prayer for you, you jump in and just say, hey, say a prayer. I don't have any problems with that. I should be doing that a little bit more than I should if somebody does ask me. Instead of saying, well, I'll say a prayer later, I should just say, okay, you asked for it. Here it comes. So God bless y'all. And I think I'm out of here. I'll see you Friday, at least Saturday too. But have a good one. If you want to reach out to me, my number, 931-994-6917. I do answer that after shows, maybe not in the middle of the night, or Sean G at IamDarkWaters.com. You can reach out to me that way. God bless y'all, and we'll see you between the mayonnaise and the mustard. See you guys.